meat in the freezer.
So happy I'm on lunch. It's so stupid. I think it might work.
Chaos? Like every hunting season.
Seems like it's not going anywhere, but it also seems like it could go somewhere.
He lost his paper bag, I swear.
I will not. I'm actually pretty good directionally.
You got to pay extra for that kind of tile work.
That's unreal. You got three. So where's the under table camera?
There's three of them.
I wore a skirt for a reason.
And they say those young guys don't know how to get people going.
What's that song? Gets the people going.
It gets the people going.
That's
What does it mean?
Kanye West.
Okay. I think.
I love how hard you've been repping the Quick Trip gear from your swag trip.
I mean, that's a real flex.
Dude,
I have friends.
You can't just get that stuff.
I could be sponsored by every single outdoor company, and I have friends that would be like, but you go to Quick Trip every morning before hunts.
I was at Quick Trip twice today.
Dude, I was at the beer garden in Oconomowoc. There's what's it called? Oktoberfest or Fall Fest is what they call it over the weekend for the kids. And there's this dude, he's like you. I mean, he's jacked.
He's small and annoying.
He's jacked. He comes up to me and makes it he's looking at me for a while. I'm like, what's going on?
My budget.
Did I do something wrong? Did I kill a bee and it stung? I'm like, what's going on? He comes over, he's like, where'd you get that sweatshirt? It was this sweatshirt. I was like, from Quick Trip. He's like, yeah, but where do you get it? I was like, well, they have merch at their big stores. They have their online stuff. But I said, I don't actually know if this one's available or not. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to say this I'm an ambassador.
In blood.
I'm an ambassador.
My wife's rolling her eyes. She's like, oh my God, you're so douchey. I was like, I'm not trying to, I'd answer the man's question. He could have beat me up.
I'm sure he would have too.
I'm going to need that.
All right. No, sir,
Take it off.
You can just have it, okay?
You got a pretty mouth, boy.
Take it off.
Did it work? Did the link?
I just clicked the link, but I posted it on my Facebook. I just don't know if it's doing anything.
I don't know. I don't know how to check
That's
that.
okay. It doesn't matter. You don't want to one of my follower.
I don't know. You're pretty popular. Popular fella.
Yeah, right.
Let's
in the corners.
Let's start this thing. Man, Derek, you really know how to pour that up.
I do my best. I do some of my best work around 6 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Were you a bartender in another life, or?
No, I always kind of wanted to be a bartender, but
too.
The anxiety of messing somebody's drink up is too much for me.
I mean, you get them drunk, and you don't have to worry about it after the second pour,
Yeah. You pretty much have what you enjoy for the first two drinks, and
then it's
what else are you getting served?
I can see you being a good bartender.
I would love I think if I retire, I would love to be a barkeep.
It's fun.
I'd just be wiping the counters down, listening to everyone's problems, and throwing some logs on their fires a little bit, just hear them banter about it more.
Oh yeah, you get some characters. It's really.
Tell me more about that. You hear what he said over there, John? You hear Tom's talking shit.
We had some regulars with some pretty sad stories. And, you get the person that's every day at work was always the worst day at work. They just have to have some reason to come grab a drink.
Yeah,
so
they're there every day. You see the bars. You drive past them. The same trucks are there at the same time. They're playing bar dice. I mean, it's their crew. They're there to see. It's some of these bars here in Wisconsin have their family.
So you bartended for a while?
Well, I bartended back in college. Well, as a summer job in college, but
you look like you're still in college. Were you a linebacker or something?
No, I wrestled in college.
That's what it was.
Did you pick up any good hunting spots in the bar?
I was just about to say I would start a bar just for the hunting spots.
Hey,
literally the only reason I would want to have that bar is just. Yeah, I got this one on camera, and you just show them something from another state, Google Images, and they're like, that's nothing. Look at this. He's like, drop time, public land.
It doesn't take
Where'd you
much
say
to
that
get
was
the people
from?
going, right?
You say this.
It gets the people going. It's the trail cam photos.
Right? You show one picture, and they're like, oh, I got to one up this mother.
Yep.
No. How is your mood? Is it when Are you on a 24-hour trail cam update? 12, 6?
Oh.
Like, how is that impacting your mood? You open up the app and you're like, it's like you're rolling the magic 8 ball. What am I going to see today? Not this time, dick. Damn it.
Guys are showing up in bars, not because it was a bad day at work, but
Because they're trail cam.
6 more hours. So I'm like, trail cam update. Like, well, I need to
It updates. It's like, I need a shot. What was it, good or bad? It was good. And if it's bad, I need one because I didn't get one. It's like you're drinking either way.
Yeah.
Does Packers get a touchdown? We're drinking. The Packers didn't get a touchdown. We're drinking.
I mean, it's Wisconsin. There's really
why you're
not
there.
much else to do. That's pretty much it. That's why we ice fish. We just call it drink and run.
Oh, I love it.
There's
I
2
love it.
states.
There's a dude I was at that Quick Trip Ambassador Day thing, not to be too shady.
Oh, look at him. Look at him.
But listen, one of the guys there, his handle on his page is Wisconsin dive bars. He just goes in the dive bars.
That's
I've
awesome.
seen that guy's stuff.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He visited. I was at a bachelor party, and there was a bar with like dollar bills like stapled to the ceiling and stuff. He did a review there, and it was a really cool bar. Like bartender, the bar experience is totally predicated on a bartender, in my opinion. Like
They got to be drinking with you or pretending to be.
No, depending on. I've worked with some bartenders that drink with the customers, and they don't get the rest of the drinks out. I'll say, but there's when they can like talk to you and have a conversation. Like I feel like there's a difference between like podcasting and having a conversation. Like I like this format because it's like it's a conversation. It's not like I need to deliver on and make myself like speak clearly and I can't see this person. So like I'm just going to make sure I have all my talking points and stuff like in the episodes I've hosted. Like you're trying to hit your talking points, stuff like that. It's not the same as like just letting the conversation flow.
Yeah, we didn't prep for this.
We talked about like Kanye West and bartenders and everything.
It's up to a great start.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the best bartenders are like the guys that they give you like 10 words of conversation and it's great. And then they go on and get the next drink and you're like, shit, like I kind of wish that guy was like talking to me more. Like I wish I could like talk to this guy and like ask about all the weird characters that come through and all that stuff.
Oh, dude. When there's like,
and then the drink's strong.
There's some bartenders that are really like genuinely good at mixing an actually good drink. And then there's some that are just really fun to be around. And the ones that can play bar dice with me are usually my favorite ones.
The bar dice.
So you hunted the Nicolay Shaquam.
That's where I cut my teeth as a new hunter. Like the first time I ever hunted in my entire life, my dad was in his like, what is it, 88 Dodge Ram Charger, 4-barrel carb, 350 V8. And like it's he's gassing, passing people on the 1-lane highway like we're gonna die in a head-on collision. The tailpipe's going pow, when he's dropping on the gas. I'm like, dude, I'm having a heart attack for like 8 different reasons right now. Also, you're watching for deer while you're doing this. Like we're gonna die. And then we actually do go off the road on a like, I don't know. We're in it now. We're up in the Nicolay and we're past all the traffic. And he's like, turns the headlights off. He's like, it's pretty dark up here. It's not houses for miles. And so he turns the lights back on. I'm like, oh man. And then like, I'm not gonna.
This is why you don't.
This is not the story I thought I was getting into.
No,
I'm not gonna implicate him in
a very dark.
So then he grabs a beer. He's like, we're up north. You can do this up here. And it's like he literally gets into like one sip, and then like the road gets so bumpy, and then we just kind of like vibrate off the road.
Forward,
and then we are off the road into like 4 foot of snow and almost hit a tree. And he's like, I swear to God, it wasn't the beer. Yeah, I know. It was, you had a sip. Like, I know. Also, the beer is now spilled. Our gear's all shoved up to the front. And 10 minutes ago, you just showed me how there's no one anywhere up here.
Perfect.
I'm now terrified.
Perfect place to go off the road.
It wasn't the beer. It was the roofie you put in the beer. Right?
He puts it in 4-wheel drive, backs up, and back on the road we go. And I'm like, he's like, that's why you got to have that up here. 4-wheel drive. So that was my first ever hunting. So we got to like, then we did go down a logging road. We get out. I follow him through the darkness of the Nicolay National Forest. I have no concept of anything.
So were you in the real Nicolay or were you like Crivets?
We were like Phelps.
So we
were off of Mail Route Road. I can tell you the literal road.
No. We were like a mile from the Michigan border.
Yeah, right up there, right by the UP.
2150, is that access road?
That might have been it. Yeah, then he uses like the easy step things, that rope thing, and we get up in the tree. I've never been in a tree in my entire life for like hunting. And that was it. So the next morning we go out and you're hunting. Holy shit, I'm hunting. Pretty sure I heard a guy coughing like, 20 yards away.
There used to be a lot more pressure up there than there is now.
Yeah, so that's where I got to hunt, and I saw like deer up there. I never shot one up there ever. I never knew what to do. I was too stupid to know what to do. I had a deer I could have spit on, and I could have shot, and I was like too excited to tell my dad I saw a deer that I didn't shoot it because I didn't really know what to do.
When we were youths, like we would get people in the town like really, really pissed, like that we would shoot does because like the youth would shoot does instead of like you're destroying the population, you know, like because there was like no deer up there. So like they would get really mad if we shot does, and they would see like at the Nicolay Lodge, like the hotel we stayed at.
We set the Nicolay National Shores. So
Yeah,
that's like a lot. That's a different one.
it's like the bougie place.
It felt bougie then.
Yeah.
The hot tub.
Yeah, this place is like there's a laundromat next door and a kitchenette, and that's it. Like, me and my brother were sharing beds. Dad just sawing logs in the other room. That was pretty much it. We would take videos just laughing at like how terrible his snoring was. We wouldn't sleep because we were so excited.
I've seen viral videos of people snoring and like doing some sort of weird dub sound to it.
Like auto tuning it or something.
Yeah, something weird. It's pretty funny. It was a weird rabbit hole one night when my algorithm served me up some weird snoring videos.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta do this to my wife. She snores like a freaking beast.
That's a great thing to say in the podcast.
I love her so much, but Jesus, the snoring's gotta stop.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of thing up there. Like it's wicked. I've seen comets walking in. So like I was walking in, and I took one of my college buddies. It was his first experience gun hunting. He's from Indiana, never hunted, and he was on the wrestling team with me, and I just corrupted the hell out of him. Like just. My dad, the first thing my dad said to him when he met him was like, "You better hug your parents because you're never going to be the same." Like,
oh my god!
And I was like, "That's a great introduction, man."
Oh
And he's like,
God.
and he was at my wedding, and he was like, he was right. Yeah, he was absolutely right. But we took him way up there, and we went 3.5 miles, like legitimately Onyx track, 3.53 miles.
That's
like before we cut off trail, and then we cut off trail, and we started walking towards our stands, and I went through. I don't know if you ever went and gone to like the boggy areas up there, but it's like 2 feet of like moss and then a foot of water. And if there's ice, you just, and then you make your way on top for a second, and then you just crash back under. So it's like dead silent. And I'm just like being so loud going through this bog. It's pitch black. And I'm weird, superstitious about no headlamps, you know, but I'm under the moonlight, so it's fine. And all of a sudden, everything around me is in like pure color. Like, I can see everything as if it was daylight, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like 3 a.m. It was a comet breaking into the atmosphere.
Oh, my God,
Lit up
dude.
the sky.
What?
It was as daylight as this is right now, like, for a good 5 seconds.
I'd been like, did I eat some mushrooms on the way in that I didn't realize?
I mean, I can see
That's
why.
really cool.
I can see why there's, like, possession and, like, Escanaba in the moonlight. Like, you know, they're talking about all the I seen a sight, and, like, I had one of those moments, you know, and I killed a buck that day, and then we were like all excited about that. We got
a lucky
down.
comet. Did you Google what comet that was?
No.
You could if you know the date, which you
UFO.
do know the date because you killed a buck on that date.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
We should figure that out.
Yeah.
We don't have the Joe Rogan
I think it was
people
2020.
in our studio, but like we have listeners. Someone go find that.
2020.
Right. You know what I mean?
2020 opening or second day of gun season.
In 2020?
Yeah.
That's the year I got this. I call that the election buck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because it was election day. It's like
So you shot a buck after crunching through the bog?
Yeah. So I got up there like 2 hours beforehand. And I caught him coming to his bed. He actually.
This is up north, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, it was smaller than that one. It was like without the G3.
Yeah.
But it was
all
that.
mass on that
But a
one.
really chocolate rack, like super chocolate rack.
Dude, those
Gorgeous.
northern bucks.
It was the biggest buck that anyone had shot in that lodge in 15 years, but it was probably 60 inches.
He's
You know,
probably huge,
it had a
body deer.
It had a frame. Yeah, he was big. But he had like 6 pounds of moss in his stomach too, which I thought was really interesting.
Wow.
It was really, really weird. But they were just struggling for food. But we went and gutted that deer, and we came in the next day, and there were wolves.
Did you do that because you wanted to see what he was eating?
Well, I shot him further back, so it exited guts.
So you just got lucky to see the moss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was parted open, and you know, every once in a while you check it.
Lucky.
You walked up and there was
Snow.
moss hanging out. You were like, he was trying to heal himself. Back in the wound, this
It was a
mother.
damn comet.
He's a smart old one.
These northern deer, I tell you,
They don't do
they're
anything to survive.
Yeah. Southern deer got like suture kits and stuff. They know how to sew at this point.
Some
Southern
asking
deer or
stupid questions.
something
I'm like, how would you know that he had
The
moss?
northern deer can't sow though because their hooves get too cold and they can't hold.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! And you are in that area too No, you said Crivets as if it's like not far enough.
Yeah, so we would stop in Crivets and drive like an hour and a half north.
Wasn't there a strip club there called Weasels or something?
Yep. Yep.
I've never been to it, but
Charlie's Island buffet.
I really haven't. I was like,
Charlie's
like
Island.
Charlie's Island was.
it's gotta be pretty
was the
derelict,
spot.
right?
The reason I mentioned the Nicolay is there's a bar up there. It used to be called the Bear Inn, and it was just like the place to be. Like every hunter would come there afterward. Everyone would be showing off their bucks. The Nicolay Lodge Hotel is right across from the DNR, so like you go register your deer and then you go out to the bar.
Yeah.
And so you go through town. Everyone would check in there, and we would go to Dina Mia's, which is closed down now. It's next door, and we play Big Buck Hunter all night long.
Oh, it's so fun,
dude! Wedding
so
gift
fun.
from my best man. I have a Big Buck Hunter in my house.
We want to get one here.
That's
You
so
should.
cool.
I'm gonna do
Get a
it.
mini one. Yeah. It's like
it's a real
$400, $500.
Yeah, I think we're totally gonna do that. I've
It's
convinced
so
Tyler,
much
and
fun.
he agreed, but then like cash flow, so we'll just have to wait.
I'll
till
donate.
some things.
Let's start a donate. Let's start a
Let's start a
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe page.
Hell
Hey
yeah.
guys, I know you're never gonna play this, but like, can you buy us a Big Buck Hunter, please?
But that
Yeah.
bar, they knew how to mix like a really mean old fashioned. And so
Oh,
like
that's good.
if you know how to make a good old fashioned, like that's the staple of a bar in the Northwoods.
Yeah.
You're not a bar if you can't do it. But
Kevin Vistison, when I went to guest on the working class, and I went down there, and he was there with the Deer Hunter podcast. He made, what did he call it? He called it like a new fashion, and he had this way that he mixed it with all these ingredients from where he's from, in like Traverse, Michigan, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was actually really good. And I say the word "actually" to imply that I wasn't expecting.
I mean,
I was like expecting a drink, like, okay, a drink. And I was like, dude, this is a memorable drink. What you just made is actually.
You know what he put in there? A little bit of that DH3.
yeah.
Probably.
It
Well,
smells good.
Was it
That
like
smells-
molasses
Yeah,
a little
You
bit?
yeah, it was
smell-
sweet. It was
molasses,
sweet.
You know what he was
cinnamon,
doing? Just a little
bergamot.
squirt of that when no one's looking.
He's a bourbon connoisseur.
Probably
too,
was
so
some
he
of that
probably-
molasses. I bet you it
That
was.
did surprise me when you said he came up with the new fashion because he's
You've
kind of
heard
an
this.
old-fashioned.
He's an
fella.
old-fashioned fella,
He
right?
likes
open-minded,
the
though.
old stuff.
Yeah. I was like, what is this, Kevin?
Not those new young guys.
Yeah, screw those young guys. Yeah, don't get me started on that.
We're gonna circle back to that at some point.
Yeah, right.
Bucks are shedding velvet. I saw that real
You
time.
have proof.
Like, it's really neat to see. I've not had that on a trail cam before. It's a first for me. My cherry has been popped for.
Like bloody velvet, or you had velvet on your trail cam? You went to check
You know
the
how
camera.
the deer down here do it? They use their own velvet to stitch up there.
I went and hunted with Jake Bush one time in Ohio, and he had me pull a camera when I was there, and it was on a pine, and I was like, "Why'd you put your camera sideways on a rub?" And he's like, "I didn't." A bucket came up.
I didn't.
And, like, destroyed the camera. Like, rubbed the hell out of the camera, too. So I was like, yeah.
He should have messed with you for a little bit. He could have been like, well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, that was like the first, it was a day I arrived, too. So I was like, I don't know about this. Like, you hear about these guys that, like, just kill booners on public, and you're like, aren't they legit? And, I was like, I don't know about this Jake Bush guy. And I was like, he put a camera on a tree with a rub. Like what's going on? I was like, I kind of get it. Like, the deer's going to show up there. And then, like, the rest of the week, I was like, wow, I know nothing about deer hunting. Like, this guy's insane.
We had him on, and I remember it.
So
Like,
knowledgeable.
I don't think apprehensive is the right word, but like, I think we were a little bit inquisitive about, are you really that surgical, dude? Like,
He is.
are deer really going to do the thing you think they're going to do? Because I'm becoming more of a believer, knowing what I've learned so far, where I've been like, it's just a deer. Nah, they're not that smart. You're giving the deer too much credit. Now I'm starting to like kind of come around a little bit more, so I could see where he's a little bit more.
I think that like the more I hunt, the more I hunt, and the more so we're doing like a series on the Mobile Hunter podcast that I help out with. It's called the Whitetail Apprentice, and so this whole 2.0 version of that is we're interviewing people with doctorates and we're talking to them about their thesis. And so like we're talking about, we did one on the.
You don't have your doctorate yet, but master's.
We did one on like the soil quality versus like the nutrition content, and that the soil quality doesn't impact the nutrition content, but it will impact the amount of nutrition. That's like won't impact the quality of the food. So like there's like we've done a ton of them, and like the more I do stuff with them, and the more I pay attention to like whitetail research and stuff like that, the more I think that a lot of the people that are really tactical are just operating on confirmation bias, because it's like there's people that I know, and I've mentioned this to you, that put out very expensive content and do very expensive things that have not done that thing themselves, you know, and have done it maybe once or twice in their lifetime. And so it's like, a lot of the times people develop, I'm pretty certain, having experience with like a lot of different, like chasing single deer and stuff like that. And like, I'm an engineer, so I'm like really analytical. I Excel graph all of my trail camera data, like for everything you can imagine. And so my goal is to like remove my own bias from it, which is really hard to do. And I feel like the more
some of the confirmation biases are valid.
They absolutely are.
But there's still a bigger picture.
I think that people develop a style because they get really good at a certain thing, which is a very good. You
want
thing.
To get comfortable because we want to get good at things.
Yeah.
The moment you try to get good at another thing, then you experience discomfort, and then that pushes you right back into wanting to just stay good at the thing you're good at.
I think they box themselves though, because like if you only ever hunt a certain style, like for instance, like a very popular thing is to not hunt afternoons until like pre-rut, right?
I don't subscribe to any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm an opportunistic hunter in terms of scheduling.
Right. Like unequivocally, like
if I'm not on my couch, there's a chance I could get a deer.
Right. Like across all studies done, like the drone dude that's been putting stuff out.
He's coming up on the show soon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really love his stuff. But
he's a neat guy.
With him and with all the collar studies, like every single one across the board, at least that I've had experience with, which is a few dozen, has more morning movement. And specifically in the early season too. Like a deer in the early season might be moving as much in the morning as it would in the evening of pre-rut. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's a lot of people that succeeded in a certain way and they take lessons from their success and they reapply that success, but then they don't open themselves up to ever be proved wrong.
It's like the people that like, well, I've only driven a Ford, so Fords are good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Chevys were good too. Well, I drove a Chevy and it had a problem once, so now I don't like those. It's like, well, it doesn't mean that all Chevys are bad or all Fords are good. And let's hear about the people in the truck comments here, but yeah, well, very much like taking a very small purview of the world and applying it to the broader sense of the world. And then where I get like, I don't want to say pissy, but where you'll see a lot of my inspiration for content come from is we try to transcend that. And I'm kind of calling people out. Like you then can't just assume that your way is the right and only way and then bash other people because they're doing it like a different way.
Yeah.
And then to be mad at it. Well, that's not going to work. Well, then you should be happy that it's not going to work because you're so arrogant, right? You know?
I mean, I actively seek out failure and it comes to me naturally, trust me.
But honestly, they're really
like if you think about it, like if I gave you I don't know if we want to go through like an exercise, but like to prove the scientific method, like if I gave you a series of numbers, like 2, 4, and 8, and you were to tell me what the pattern is, like take a guess at what you think the pattern is I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know. You're doubling.
No. So like people will typically go through a guess. They'll say even numbers.
You put me on the spot there. I felt really compelled to come up with an answer very fast.
So people
and
say
it was
like,
numbers.
People will say like doubling or even numbers, or you multiply the first 2 numbers to get the third. And the sequence is really just it gets progressively bigger. And so like what that teaches us is that when people
we're looking for patterns,
we look to be correct.
And correct.
And the way that if you would ask 30 questions about like what you thought the rule was, if you were only guessing things that fit the rule. If you chose something like, okay, 157, and I was like, yes, that fits it too. You'd be like, oh, this is completely different than
Dude, this is a game we play in the car with the kids. It's called I'm Going to a Party.
Oh, really?
You guys heard of this game?
No, I haven't.
Your teacher.
Oh, no, yeah, I've heard of it.
Describe the rules of it.
You say, kids, I'm going to a party. And then in your mind, you pick things that are round. And so the kids start guessing. Can I bring this? I mean, eventually they figure out the rule. Oh, I can bring anything that's round.
You say, like, you can come to the party.
So they say, can I bring a tennis ball? I'm like, yep. Then they go, oh, well, does it have to do with sports? Nope. It's broader than that. So it's very much kind of like feels like what you're talking about, right. Oddly enough.
Well, that's what people do in hunting. It's like, how many times do you have Old Faithful? You know, the stand you killed in on this day.
And there's some gravitational pull to that kind of stuff. Like you just really want to be like, man, there's some good times in that stand. It's worked out. It might produce again.
I love that you brought this up because there's a group of, I'm going to say of you, there's people out there who are really, really analytical. You people.
I think he's going to explain
you smart people, you analytical people who love to crunch the data and look at this unbiasedly. And I am like in this moral dilemma with myself constantly. It's not moral. It's not moral at all. It's just a dilemma I have. But like when I look at the woods, right, like you've been with me, I look at it through my lens, and that's the lens I like to look at it in. And like I know that there's like, if I just did that and like broke, but then I'm like, but I don't really want to. Like that takes the fun out of it for me.
Yeah.
So like just how I am, I know that like
I think
I just did it this other way, but I'm like, but I kind of like the way that I do it, even though that I know that it's like not as effective. I just enjoy it. So
That's how we get our lots in life, even. Like, wow, where am I in life? What? Clearly, however my life is turning out is a lot to do with me.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like there's two camps to that thought process too, though, because like you could just say like I'm going to go off data, right? And in reality, it's for a single guy to get good data. It's really, really hard. Like you're not going to get enough points. You're not going to have enough cameras. And the cameras aren't even accurate.
You can still get it wrong, and there's other like even if you had all of the data from the Collard study, and you knew that, and you were hunting that deer, and you knew that he traveled these ways, and you see all the lines. I'm thinking of like the MSU Deer Lab posts that have like the 100,000 lines on a map of a plot, and it's like you could have just been like in the most concentrated spot, but that day he went a different direction. Like,
well, it's not
so then you never get that validation that you were right, and that's been my thesis with deer hunting is that you could be doing it right and in all the sense and not get the affirmation, and therefore then you get self-doubt, you get what's the opposite of confirmation bias? There's got to be, what's the antithesis of that?
I mean, yeah.
Confirmation failure? Like, now I'm just self-doubt? Like, what are we doing?
I think you have to be like open-minded, and so like I think that if you just went off of data, and even if you had really good data, and I'd love to talk sometime about like the difference between like, because I've interviewed Bronson Strickland 2 or 3 times now, and like we've talked about.
Is he smart? Bronson sounds like a really smart name.
Smart. He's really nice.
Any Bronson I've ever met is like really
MSU
smart.
Deer Lab.
Very smart.
So he's the guy that published all those MSU Deer Lab studies on.
Oh, great! We're talking about the same thing.
So like, and he's very upfront about limitations of study and the methods. I mean, the first section of every study is methods. So like you will break down like if we were to compare drone versus the deer collar studies, and you were to say, what are the strengths of each? Well, the deer collar studies are going to be much more data over a longer period of time, and it's going to be more consistent. But it's not going to capture the nature and demeanor of their activity. It's not going to capture what is going on within those data points. It's just going to capture the where. It's not going to capture maybe the why and what.
If you get enough,
but a drone would.
Data over time. I read a book about statistics, which is funny because I don't know where in the archives of my mind this is coming from, but technically if you were to flip a coin, there's 3 outcomes, not 2. It's not heads or tails. It's heads, tails, or the coin gets lost. Yeah. Like that's an outcome. And like, or it could land on its side. Though unlikely is an outcome. That being said, statistically speaking, what the hell was I going to say? Oh yeah, over enough time, there was a study of these guys got busted, but they were like data scientists going to casinos. And they would just observe the roulette wheel and plot every single point. And over the course of like 3 months, they would identify a pattern, or 6 months, they would identify a pattern. Yep. And statistically, they would end up winning enough money because they were right more often than everyone else. But that being said, on any given Tuesday night, you and I go there, even if we had all that data, you could still pick black and still win.
Right.
Like that pattern over time still is enough to like let you win that day. Yeah. Necessarily.
That's where you get to like random events.
Sorry, that feels very aligned with what you're saying.
I wanted to give you like a bit of props for your style, because I know you said you wanted to be more analytical, but what I was trying to say is that like you have to be multifaceted. Like if you're just going to put yourself in one camp, you're going to be short of all.
Which is where this conversation started. Yes.
Right. And so like the thing that you gain from operating on instinct is you strengthen your instinct. And so when you're wrong, you can focus on what, like if you record what went wrong in the hunt or whatever, and deer blows at you or deer just doesn't show up, you can get another data point maybe on, okay, why was I influenced to make this decision and what might have made it not happen? But if you're never operating on your instinct and you're just operating on data, then you don't own that success, the data does. If you succeed, it's no longer making you more confident. It's just like, oh, I clearly need to get more data to make any decisions. And that's when you get paralysis by analysis and all that crap. So if you rely on your own instinct to fail and succeed, you get to wear that failure and you wear that success. And it allows you to kind of refine. And that's why you get guys like Andy and Dan and just a bunch of people that can operate on instinct, and they can't even explain like the lower level at times.
Because they've gotten so much data that
it's intrinsic.
It's yes.
You can tell when you listen to like Andy May, right? Like there's no doubt that guy, wherever he goes, he's going to figure out how
He's
to
just
kill
seeing
a
the
good
field.
buck.
He's seeing it in the
But like
matrix.
listening, like you can go listen to every Andy made podcast, and he does. He's a great, he's a great speaker. But like you can just listen to it and be like, that's not what's happening out there. Like what's happening out there is he has had so many experiences that he has learned intrinsically and through like positive experiences what he needs to do in that situation, and that's what he does.
That's why I like the Dropping Pin series, because if I could talk to Andy May, or at least hear him, maybe you should talk to him. And I'm not sure how accessible he is, but if it were like, what were the things that started to click for you? What were the data points and experiences that you pieced it together finally? What was that like for you? Because that's something that I can watch out for as a distilled, like boots on the ground guy, because I can absorb all this information. Dude, I've been osmosising the shit out of deer hunting content for over 10 years.
Yeah.
But when you go to put the boots on the ground, suddenly somehow it's like when the record light goes on the camera. I could know what I'm going to say. I've read the script 100 times. The record light goes on. I'm like, what? It leaves the brain, and I'm like suddenly influenced by other things. Like now I'm sweating more than I was 2 seconds ago.
So
That light gets so bright. Are you looking at me funny? Am I sitting okay? What are my hands doing? Like that's what happens to me in the woods. Also, I'm like,
Did I forget my release?
there's a deer showing up. What do I do?
I got to interview Andy at the Mole Hunter Expo, and that's exactly how I felt. Like I was like, oh, I'm just this idiot that gets to interview this legend, But if you ever talk to him in person, like he's really like, I learned something from you. It's almost always like how he ends conversations, and it's just like, there's a lot of people you talk to that are like quote unquote greats in the hunting industry. I hate that word, but the community that really help a lot of people or are very successful. And for many, it could be any reason. It could be just because they hunt a ton more than everyone else, but like those guys sometimes are really close-minded. They have their own style. They tell you that this doesn't work or this does. And, they don't really want to hear like your perspective. They'll listen to it because you're a supporter and, they care about you in that reflect. But like Andy's not the only, but one of the only guys I've ever talked to that genuinely, no matter who he's talking to, is just trying to consider what you're saying and trying to apply it. You can see him like applying it to the situations he's been in. And he never would ever say, like, that won't work or that's not right.
One of the greats.
He's always like, I
that.
took something from you
Yeah.
and I learned it. Like, one of the points, I've written down stuff to prepare for an interview.
That's smart.
Andy. But two things that...
But not for this podcast.
Well, I did for this
You
podcast.
don't need to. Please don't.
I did for this podcast if we ever got into the industry talk. But one thing, two quotes I wrote from him is being aggressive and getting in there is just learning. You're building instincts and getting better at it over time. So there's a lot to be said by going in there and going with your gut, and you're going to screw it up, but you fine-tune that. So, like, it's really important to, as we were just saying, in my opinion, the greatest hunter there really is that's doing it right now. There's a lot to be said for operating on instinct, and you don't ever get to be a successful hunter if that hunter, like your success, is based on MSU Deer Lab or some drone study or something like that.
It is cool to get some of that confirmation. You know this fellow.
Yeah, we're going to go to don't go to Tim's
This is
spots.
Tim Hinkins, yeah.
Tim said he doesn't have any big ones. Tim, we're staying out of your spots. We're going to go to Jacob's spots instead.
His Tim's favorite line is not stay out of my spots, but please stay out of my spots. And he is just Tim makes some good stuff. He's a really, really fun guy. He's a nice guy.
That's funny.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Check
Yeah.
in. That's cool.
Tim came up to the cabin once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you never have.
I know.
Tim stopped up.
Just kidnap me one weekend, Derek. Please, just kidnap me.
Okay, we will.
Just feel like, hey, Holly, we're taking him.
He'll be fine.
And it's not even that she would ever say no. It's that like
No,
collectively
it's life.
we won't make it. I gotta make it happen.
My dad made me think of that, by the way, because I've been like really tossing around in my head. So I was going down to Illinois with some buddies. We're going to scout. We've done the public land thing down there for a couple of years, and we're going down. We're all excited, bringing all these cameras. And my dad says, "Yeah, don't worry too much about your cameras." He's like, "If I were you, I wouldn't even bring them." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Derek, how do you kill your bucks?" He goes, "You always get good ones on camera." He said, "But you do well when you just walk in and you find sign and you set up. That's how you always come." And I was like, he's right. It's never in the spots that I like pre-planned. Like I sometimes have encounters there, but like it's always out of like. He's like, "Just do that." And I was like, "Damn it, Dad, you're freaking right."
I've never killed a deer because of trail cam. As much as I love getting the footage, it's really exciting.
I still went down there.
It
and
hasn't
hunted
done
them all.
anything for me yet to date. Like to date, I've never killed a deer. Now that's not the one that Greg messed me up on. That was a trail cam situation. It's a whole different situation. That was morning too, and that was very different. I don't normally hunt mornings because I don't normally know where the hell I'm going to go, and therefore I don't like going in blind and pitch black. I struggle lately with darkness. My land nav goes out the window.
Just use a headlight.
I think that actually makes it worse for me for some reason.
You can't see further than
I don't know what happens. It's like a new thing for me. I'd never had this problem as a young guy.
For those of you that haven't tried it, doing what Jacob talked about in the beginning, sorry, like if there's moon and it's not cloudy, just let your eyes acclimate, and it's way better than using a headlight.
And it depends on like overhead cover, of course. Like if you have a ton of overhead like foliage, like you're gonna see nothing. Just be quiet, I think, is like the key. But like it's pretty nice going into the dark. Like I really enjoy it actually. Like
I almost like to have a light so I can tell other hunters like I'm here.
Yeah.
I love that you're planning on going in late, later than everyone else.
That's one thing that Dan mentioned.
You're at quick track getting some photos.
Dan would say like I'd never go in without a headlight or go out without a headlight. We almost got shot one time. He told me a story about a guy being at full draw and I'm like just sitting in a stand after dark, and he was going out without a headlight. So,
dude, if I got taken up by an arrow, that'd be a hell of a way to go.
I don't think I'd enjoy it.
That would suck.
I'd be like,
what if a deer shot you with an arrow? It come full circle.
So I actually almost
it patched itself up with that moss and it came back.
Right now you know what to do.
I was walking on public land in an area that we were actually looking at. I canoed in and with my buddy, and we get there and there's another canoe already there. I'm like, well, this is the only spot we can really go. So like this is where we're going. We're gonna put our canoe next to their canoe. I don't know if it's they, him, her. I don't know. I just know there's someone else out there. So we go out there. My buddy goes one way. I'm like, go that way. Watch out for the hunters. There's clearly someone else here. I go a certain way. I see a dude sleeping on a log. I was like, that dude ain't seeing shit. He didn't see me. He was dead asleep. I just walked past him. So I thought that was the dude. Then I no shit hear someone shoot a bow and hit the target. And then a doe comes barreling at me, bleeding everywhere, right into a cornfield up the way. And I was like, did that just happen? Like someone just, I have to imagine I had a part in that situation, or I must have spooked the deer or something.
He just wants
but it was wild. It was wild.
This Quick Trip ambassador just got you a doe.
Then I walked to some spot and I watched these guys meet up and drag that doe out.
So that guy was just there because he knew his buddy was going to get one. He's like, hey, I'm going to shoot a deer tonight. Come sleep on a log.
Or maybe he heard me coming and he didn't want to have an awkward encounter, so he just pretended to be sleeping.
He's like ultimate stealth mode. He knew the doe was coming back to her bed. And
dude, it was weird.
I will say that's probably the worst feeling in the woods is like when you're walking through or you're trying to sneak through, be real quiet, and all of a sudden like you look up or somebody whistles and you're like already like really close to them and they're in there and you're just like, I hate that. Like I hate
been the guy to scare people.
Somebody. Yeah. I hate disrupting it. Like, oh my god, like I just messed you up and now I want to run, but like I don't want to make noise by your stand. Doesn't happen often, but I just feel horrible when I do that.
It's like when you're at a festival and you like are waiting in line at the porta potties and you go to open one that's not locked and there's someone in there and you're like, oh no,
like awkward for everybody.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I do like afternoon hunts though. Like, I'm not saying like I'm the guy to get there late. That does happen sometimes.
I was just joking.
But I've had good experiences with that too. And this isn't about me. We have a guest, but that was one of my proudest moments of hunting almost ever. When I got to a spot and there was like 6 trucks or something already there, and I was like, oh man, I don't even I can park here. But this is what I was going to do today. Like this is it. I don't have any other plan B stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And the way I navigated my way through, I didn't see another hunter. No other hunter saw me. I saw 4 bucks. And by the time I got out, and I never shot one, because it's me, of course, I got out all the cards, and I was like, I saw no other hunters. I saw the deer. And
is that when you saw that really nice one?
Yeah, it was like right across the river, and I heard fighting. And then they like came and were fighting like right there. And I was across the river, so I couldn't. Right. I was like, oh, I'm going to do some whitetail adrenaline shit. I'm going to cross this river. I'm going to grunt that buck. He's going to come at me because he's already aggressive. I'm going to shoot him. And that never happened.
Put a reed in your mouth like a snorkel and just pop out and Rambo that shit.
I thought for sure I was going to have that deer dead to rights, and I crossed that river, and then there was nothing. I was like, he must have saw me coming. I'm so stupid.
Yeah. I will say, I was talking about studies earlier, and this bothers me because I hate what people do on podcasts. I was talking about studies earlier, and there are limitations to study, like I said, but, I think pressure probably influences a lot of it, and location probably does. Now, a lot of studies have been done everywhere, but I'm sure there's some areas where the deer move more in the afternoon than the morning, and I'm sure there's reasons for that. I mean, I would never get out on an afternoon hunt if I didn't access the land when hunters were there. And that's a very common thing, like in the South where there's bigger pieces and stuff where I hear, yeah, there's 100 in a lot, so I just went to plan B. And it's like, there's not a property for plan B, and I'm coming after work, and I don't have time to go to plan B. And I've already got a 1.5 mile walk to do. Like, some of my favorite hunts last year were like, I was going after this buck that a lot of people knew, and you saw a picture to understand why a lot of people knew him. A lot of people call them splits, and I don't really name deer. I used to, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad or good thing. But
do you name deer? I've never heard you name a deer.
I'm going to name a deer Mike Lee this year, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have named deer before. Absolutely.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just stopped doing it.
My dad can't tell the difference between an 8-pointer and a 10-pointer and a 6-pointer, so we started naming them so he would know which one. Okay, I'm not telling the direction story.
No,
one's calling, and he's like, dude, I just shot a really nice buck. I'm like, which one is it? Because we had a couple of really nice ones up at the cabin in the Nicolay.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. It's just a really pretty 8-pointer. I don't think we've ever got him on camera. I was like, describe his rack. I was like, does he have a slight blade on his G2 on the left side? He's like, he does. I'm like, are his brow tines over 5 inches? He's like, they are. I'm like, that's ice pick, the buck we've been hunting for 5 years now. You've looked at 6,000 photos of that deer. He's like, holy shit, it is.
That's the best. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Honestly, I'd rather not hear myself talk. I'd rather listen to stories. Like, I'd rather be in like a deer camp scenario. But some of my favorite hunts for that deer this year were like just going in. This deer moved a lot. He was really nomadic, and he reacted to pressure pretty severely, which is why everyone knew about him, because he moved a lot. He moved mostly at night, and which is why it took him a long time to get killed, because he wasn't one of these deer that just hold up in an area, which gets him killed around here. And so I would scout my way in. I'd be walking really slow, and you pass like 47 cell cams on the way, of course. But like, I would perimeter the edge of bedding, and I would, I had areas that in the spring I thought were his core area. I'd set cameras in there, and then if he shifted out of them, I would set cameras in the adjacent bedding areas. So like, if he gets bumped off of what I thought was his primary bedding area, or his primary couple of bedding areas, I would scout my way into that camera, edging the bedding. And if I thought that I saw his sign, I would stop and hunt. And that was the funnest hunts I did this year. Was like, I would stop somewhere along the way if the sign was there. And I only have time to slowly walk, because I'm taking 3 steps and pausing for 20, 30, up to a minute. And so, like, that takes a long time. I can't bump to spot B. I can't bump to property B because he doesn't live on it, And if I get a day where the wind is correct, I have to take advantage. Like if it's quiet and there was rain and there's high winds and I can slip in somewhere and I can scout my way in and I see droppings and scrapes and stuff that's clearly indicative of him, like he had pretty beat down like track. I'll show you pictures, but he has like chipped hooves. A lot of the deer we shot last year had chipped hooves from like the drought. Well, like actual chipped, like it looks like it would hurt to walk on. I'll show you.
Did you see it in his track where there was like pieces missing?
I was just gonna ask about that because I was like, you're too analytical to call bullshit on, but I was like, it was him? Like, what is the signal that we're talking about? So I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, usually there's a lot of deer. So we're fortunate in this area, because I know you guys hunt this area. There's a lot of big deer. So like 95% of the time, you can't tell what deer made that rub, and like there's very rare cases. The tree has to be perfect for it. The deer's characteristics have to be perfect for it. I won't say it's not possible, but like that's a very hard indicator to go off of. And at the same time, there's usually a lot of mature bucks around, or bucks of size. You might not have a giant rack. So if it's just a standard good, wide or long or whatever track with a good gate between it, you're probably not going to be able to identify that individual deer. Now, if they have, I almost think, I hesitate to say that there was, like when we had that drought a couple years back, that they got EHD, and I've seen a lot of like funky racks where like one side's way down, weird webbing and blades in the rack. And I've also seen like hooves. I'll show you like literally bloody hooves with like severe chips taken out of it, and you can see it when they're walking. It's just a theory. It could have been that deer, it could have not, but I know I got more excited when I saw a big track that had that characteristic, and he certainly drew the rack. You saw 2023 versus 2024, a lot of mass, a lot of change in his rack, and which we've seen in deer that have gone through severe drought, hardship, stuff like that. And so got more excited when I was following a track that was chipped and big, but I would still certainly follow a track that was really big and hope that he was on the end of it. And so some of the funnest hunts were just like on the way to one of those cameras. And sometimes like you go through, and the purpose is not to check the camera, it's to check that bedding area, but you would go through and there really wouldn't be sign. You get to that camera and the camera would either affirm or deny kind of what you were seeing. And so there were plenty of hunts this year that, I would go in, I'd see good sign, I'd set up, and a nice buck would come in, a mature buck would come in, 3-year-old or so, but it wouldn't be him, and so you pass on the deer. Showed you guys some of the deer from this year. And then, or you wouldn't see a deer at all. You'd hear one coming in or something like that. And then you go check the camera and a deer walked 40 yards from you, got your wind, and ran away. But then sometimes, like, you would also be like, oh, he was here. I was following a fresh set of tracks, but underneath that was an old set of tracks. And he was standing in front of this camera 2 days ago. So now I'm like, all right, it's in a scrape. Like, I can literally pick out where he was standing. In my SD card reader, I can go stand and look exactly at what track that deer was making. So you can take a picture of that and you can try to remember, but like marsh grass, like the reality is very rarely are you going to be in a scenario where you can literally check the outline of that track around here at least. And most of the time you're in an area that you can, it's nighttime sign because it's like you've got solid ground. And a lot of times the hunters are on solid ground. They don't typically go there, outside of the rut in an area like that. So it has its uses, but it's certainly a guessing game, but again, everything I'm operating on is theories. Like I'm testing my instinct, testing my theories. I'm trying to develop some sort of data. But in reality, it's like I'm not this seasoned big buck killer. Like I've killed a few good deer, but like this is just my journey of learning, and these are the tactics I've used. But it doesn't mean that it's ever going to work for anyone in another scenario or anything like that.
Yeah, but you're downplaying it, man. You're putting yourself into good gear a lot more than the average person by far, which is a huge thing. Like you have a very good understanding of where mature deer are calling home, how close you can get to them, and to see them in daylight. Like those things are hard. Like people hunt all their whole career and don't get those things figured out.
Thank you.
You're a young man, and you have a lot of that figured out.
I feel like I have so much to learn, but I think
we all do. But
I think that's the fun part about it.
Yeah,
Like
that is what's fun.
it just makes hunting so much more fun. You have something to work at, and like I feel like if it was just stagnant, it would, and you just ran the same playbook every time, how boring would that be? Like,
I mean, it would be great to kill a giant deer every year. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but like
Every year, yeah.
the challenges, it's where it's at, man.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Well, I would consider that to be young, but when I was 26, I didn't feel like that was that young. I was like, bitch, I ain't young, but now that I'm 39, I feel differently about that statement.
Yeah. No, I'm very.
But I don't even think I started. I don't think I got into bow hunting until Logan was born, my daughter, in 2017. I was 28. I was 28 when I met my wife, so I was like 30. So I'm 9 years of this stuff for me. By the time you're 40, you're going to have a lot more.
Yeah. I think it's like all
like, and Derek, you've been hunting seriously since you were like a kid. You were pretty much dialed in on this
12.
type of hunting. You weren't just like lackadaisical about it because your dad was pretty dialed in.
I've been pretty hardcore for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not technically legal, but I've been hunting alone since I was 10, and I've hunted public. I've hunted very limited private. I've hunted some public pieces that it feels like private, and there's a huge difference. I feel like in a lot of areas there's not a huge difference, but I feel like in an area where the public is extremely pressured, like there is going to be 5 cars in every weekday on a lot, like I feel like there's a bigger difference then. But again, just my opinion. But like I've been hunting for, how long is that? 16 years. And so when I was 10, I was probably hunting more intensely than most people do. I was pulling in a stand every day, pulling it down, hunting as often as I could. And, I had my dad just driving me to spots and stuff. And like, it got even worse when I got a vehicle, and before then, like when I was, from the time I could walk, my dad was taking me around the woods and showing me what tracks and rubs were. And we were building like log forts and woods and stuff like that. Like I grew up doing that. Like if there was a squirrel in the yard, you bet you I was like laying prone trying to shoot it. And like we would like every time we saw a deer, we would try to stalk it. So I learned to like put trees between me and the deer and like walk a certain way and stuff. And like a lot of the things I take for granted in my youth before I would even consider I started really hunting at like 10 years old. And, I killed my first turkey at 8. So like I was really hunting before then, but I just neglect. And I feel like a lot of people start their clock the minute they step in the woods. and have a weapon in hand. And so like, I don't personally, but I feel like if you do anything for 16 years, you probably understand it a little bit. Like if you commit,
you should,
you know, and let's say I've been doing it for 10 years since I was 16 and I could drive to hunt every day after school, you know, when I wasn't wrestling, like that's still a good amount of time. And my 10 years is, I mean, a minimum 30 hunts a year and around 300 miles in the off season. So like, I just love it. Like, I don't think it's like work. I don't think it's labor. I just like enjoy it. And there's such a
different
mental peace.
like that's one of the things. Like I'll come home and I'll be tired. I'll be exhausted. I'll hunted my ass off. My hip flexors are burning from going through canary grass bullshit and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I can't even whisper a word of complaint to my wife about being tired because I was just doing the thing I love the most.
It's your choice. You ever
You love that, yeah. Oh, I get that about this business.
Yeah.
You get it about all of it.
So that's we do love it. It doesn't feel like work, but it does take a toll on you.
Oh, for sure.
It is hard work, and it's work nonetheless. It's just a different thing altogether. I had a boss a long time ago, and I was on salary, and it was a commissioned position. So like the idea was that you wouldn't be on salary because you could earn 2 times your salary or 3 times your salary. Eventually, we could figure out, but. He's like, you're on this for 3 months. If you want to step out of the nest in week 1, 2, 1 month, like you can do that. But we have you for 3 months. But it's your choice. You want to step out early. And he's like, now that being said, the average person will work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 40 hours over the course of 3 months. Whatever the math is on that, you're an analytical guy. Whatever 3 months at 40 hours a week is, I'm not sure. He's like, or
120.
Or you could do 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And you could take what you would normally have 3 months to learn in 3 months' time, and you could learn 3 months worth of stuff inside of a month.
Maybe 2 months, 144 hours.
Or something like that, right?
Yep.
You could get there quicker, essentially by putting in more work. And so as a young man, I did the latter, and I jumped out of the nest within like a month because I'm a stupid idiot. Fell on my face for a little while.
Yeah.
But eventually like reaped the fruits of that, and it was quite amazing. I think I'm at a stage now where unfortunately I'm like sprinting it so far, like in the opposite direction. I'm not being that zealous about it. I'm like, I barely get to hunt or do anything.
Yeah.
So we do have compounding knowledge that we get out of this stuff season after season. You learn, you watch, you listen, you read, you do all these things, and it starts to compound. But I'm like relying pretty heavily on that compounded knowledge because like I ain't building a lot of new stuff right now. And it's sad. Like we were going to go scouting together on Sunday, and I was like, what reality am I living in where I think that's what I'm going to be able to do? Like, I'm like, this isn't going to work. And my wife's like, you can go. I was like, of course I can. Yeah, sure.
I feel like
Smelled that trap a mile away.
Yeah, right.
And she was being genuine about it, but also like there'd be a lot to make up for having done that. For me getting ready for the week, it's like, oh man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I'm well aware of like my youth and like
I say you're at your age because you can go hard right now. Like do it. This is it. This is your time.
And I want to continue to keep that up. And I say that while I'm drinking a beer, and I'm
you can afford the calories.
Yeah, I mean I'm getting into work at 3:30, 4 o'clock every day. I work in a foundry and machine shop as an engineer, and so like I get into work at like 3:30, 4 o'clock every day, and I work till around 4 right now. And we have like some roles transitioning in our department, and I'm overwhelmed with work, and so like I've somehow acquired more work, and I've been staying a long time. Like I've been working anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week to try and get that work done just so I can be on time. Cause I like really prided myself on being on time. And now that I was doing that to make it work, I made that my standard, and so now I'm getting more, and now I'm overwhelmed at the overwhelmed point. And so like, now I'm like, hey, it's time to reel it in and go deer hunting, and so like, I'm really struggling with that right now, but like, I couldn't do that, if I was out of shape or older and stuff. And so like, I say I want to be able to work really hard so that I can have longevity and be in shape, into an older age. But I know in reality, there's going to be family, there's going to be kids, there's going to be pets, there's going to be financial struggles. There's going to be all these things that like I can say I understand, much like someone trying to regurgitate a deer hunting tactic. Like I can say that I know that's going to come, but in reality, like, and I believe it wholeheartedly, but in reality, I haven't been there yet. So like, I would love to be in great physical shape and not be sore when I come back from a hunt. And I'm sure there's a world where that's possible, but I'm not going to pretend like I have all the time in the world.
would tell you that that's possible.
I think it really is, but I think it's about how you prioritize your time. And I think that I know that when I have a kid, my entire priority in life is going to change. Like I'm not going to be a hunter first in any way. I'm a hunter.
What
like
I find
fifth
fascinating
right
here is like I have two dudes that are both what I would consider like killers to a degree, whatever you want to call that, and like people that I would learn a lot from and have learned a lot from and will continue to learn a lot from. But also, I don't know, Derek, you tell me otherwise, but you're balancing act of all this. You're still putting in a great deal of time and effort. So like, I actually don't have a lot of excuses when I look at someone like you. Someone like you have like a whole different lot, you know, like, and it's all relative. So I can't even say like, they have it worse than you good, you know, like that's not what I'm saying here, but like, you're my age, you're not my age. And you guys both have the same amount of pins on an X. So like,
what are you at?
You know what I mean?
Not as much as you are, I don't think. Maybe more.
I think just comparison's just a thief of joy.
And it's not that I'm trying to compare. I'm just saying there's ways to make it relative to you and to get it done. Yeah. So like I know like you sacrifice things when you're out in the woods with the family and vice versa, and like that's a balance.
I got to sit down with Brett Morris last night. Blue River bow hunting.
I saw that.
Yeah, we got to talk, and I talked to him about it on there, and I was like, dude, when I had kids, like, and I met you, and like my mindset definitely changed, and like I used to hold out and go for the biggest, oldest bucks, and like now, if a good buck walks in, dude, and he's doing the trick for me, like that's just when I get to spend my time at home with the kids, and I'm not afraid to pull a trigger anymore, and like I enjoyed it a lot. So like my inches wise has gone down, but I've had way more fun and the kids get to enjoy it. Yep. And I'm really glad to hear you say that, like, you know, you expect your priorities to change because someone as hardcore into it as you are.
You guys are being way too nice to me.
No,
I'm not paying you for that.
no, but like that's just that's a good thing to be aware of because I mean, when a guy has a passion and that passion, you know, you got to keep your passions, but man, you got to decide like what you want your life to be about. And like no deer is worth your like spending time away from your kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I'm so glad to hear that message around.
There's no deer that's ever worth like your kids being kids. Like go enjoy your kids. The deer are freaking deer, dude. They just live in the woods. They'll be all right without you.
Right. Like not long ago it wasn't that way. Like it was all about like the guy that could get it done and they don't see he's on his third divorce.
At all costs.
Yeah, he's on his third divorce and he hunts 60 days a year.
That same narrative applies in business too. Like
for sure.
You're not serious enough. Business requires sacrifice. And look, I'm not going to argue that those guys are right. And however, there are certain things I'm not going to sacrifice. So maybe I'm not going to be a millionaire. I'm definitely not going to be. Let's just be real.
You balance that very well.
I'm also like, look,
dude.
I'm cool with reality versus expectation, and you have to map you have to. How did I say this? This is a Gary Vaynerchuk quote, but you have to map your actions to your ambitions. And if my ambition is to be a great dad and a great deer hunter, my mapping is looking a little bit like I'm taking two paths.
Yeah. And
some days I can't take that path. I have to take this path. And but look, cold fronts, look, you know, honey, there's a cold front, the wind shifted. Like, can we figure this out? Like that deer I shot because my mother-in-law took the kids. And I was like, hey, Joy,
I need you.
I normally wouldn't do this, and you know I don't. But let me tell you, this is what's going on.
I need to be in the
woods.
And
she did, and like that was cool because that's like the only childcare we have. Awesome. So we do have a caller, which, this is great. Have they called in before? They're still being screened, but all I see on the screen is Derek is a sexy beast. So I'm willing to bet it's someone that
sounds debatable.
I feel like. It's from Illinois.
I feel like you guys get those comments so often, you just can't really predict who it is.
There's a lot of jokers on this one.
Well, I thought it was just reality.
Let me just make sure I have the volume up.
Brian?
I feel like it's
Johnson?
Brian.
Is this Brian Johnson?
Okay, let's just see.
I love it's Brian. We're actually going to...
You're live on the podcast. Who do we got calling Derek a sexy beast?
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson, the legend.
Brian, we're gonna talk pretty soon on a Rut podcast.
That's great.
Oh, are you there?
Hey,
how you doing, dude?
There might be a
The
lag.
the phone's connected to my car, so I got a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're all
Are
a
the
little,
kids?
we're all a little
Are
laggy.
the kids in the back seat?
Coming home- No, I'm in my work car. On my so I'm headed home. I'm almost home, and then you guys popped up on my computer. I was like, well, it's been a while since I've called in.
Hey, so you're driving the police cruiser right now?
No comment.
That's great.
Yeah, heavy on the no comment.
Yeah, cool, dude. Well, you excited for season to roll around? You guys have a little bit
Anyway,
longer.
So Derek,
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Derek, I think you've been to Illinois twice since we last spoke and haven't reached out to me once. And I do believe you're live on air saying that you're only going to come down and visit my cousin if I can come too. And you came down and you never called me. So are we fighting?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't even see your cousin, the other Brian,
You don't
and he
really
lives a
seem
lot
sorry.
closer,
You
and I
don't
still
seem
didn't even.
sorry.
I'm a real
You don't
douche here.
seem sorry, Derek.
It's a lover's quarrel.
We thought this was going to be like very good for you, but it's not.
Well, he let
It's
us
not at
in
all.
with this
Sexy beast.
beautiful comment, and now he's let. I understand that. Yeah, dude.
Derek is the worst at calling people.
Should we
I
have
am.
like a relationship council?
I don't call
podcast?
anyone.
I've noticed.
I don't call anyone ever.
I don't
I've
talk to
noticed.
Derek that often,
Well,
except for Tuesdays.
If you call me, I'll answer,
Well,
but I don't call anyone.
all right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. I go on my. I took like 6 weeks off starting the third week of October.
Just hang out with Derek, and he totally let you down.
you-
And no, just kidding.
I used up all my time. I said all my holidays, all my PTO, all my vacation. I might have done some sick time abuse in there. I don't really remember. But
Did you really? Do you have 6 weeks
all
off?
just to go both. Yeah, dude. When you work around the clock, they kind of got to work like compensate somehow.
Hey, good for you.
Well, I have a
dude.
question. I have a question though. Like, so if you kill
It's
something
not
in
a
the
full 6 weeks.
if you kill something on the first like day or first week, are you still taking that time to
Yes.
just like do nothing? Or are you going back?
Honestly, I would probably just
Set your buddy
Work.
Derek up on a big buck.
overtime
Yeah, go to Wisconsin.
for other-
Go to
I
Wisconsin.
would probably work overtime for other people.
You're a good man.
Like I would.
His
other,
boss is
other
listening
people
right
like it's about to be harvest time down here, so like half the department they're farmers, so they take a couple weeks off. I'd probably just fucking work their shifts and get, I don't know if it's double dipping if I'm working at the same place, but
No, I don't.
yeah,
Don't tell people
Time and
stuff.
a half's better than straight time.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
That's good.
Jacob
Or
Barr
I
just
probably
commented.
work at concerts, or it's like security at some concerts or something. I don't know. But anyway, so Derek, I do have. It's not a full 6 weeks. It's like I can take 3 or 4 days off and get a whole week off. So the way
Yeah.
my days off rotate. So I am off until November 30th, starting October 14th.
That's a
Excuse
dream.
me while I
That is a
puke
dream.
in my mouth and swallow it.
You just had a
I
lot of
will-
listeners
I
just
will
punch
have
you in
to-
the face
I
for
will-
that.
I will have to, but also I don't take any time off the whole year, and I work way too fucking much.
Well,
So-
we still love you.
That's awesome though. I mean,
can-
dude, that's a dream.
they
Enjoy
can
every
kiss
minute of
my-
it, man.
They can kiss my lily white ass. However, I got my boat fixed. I pimped out my boat, so now we have water access.
Oh.
There you go.
If you do want to fucking kill some river deer,
Well, now your cousin, the other Brian, can get off that piece of styrofoam he's been floating down rivers in. Take him out, would you?
He
Take him out.
He is so proud. He is so proud of that $15
Have you seen that?
thing he bought off of a crackhead on Facebook Marketplace.
Brian, good sit mobile, Brian. His cousin. It looks like a piece of styrofoam. He's got like a trolling motor on it.
It
Got
is-
it off
it's one
Facebook
of
Market. It
those-
looks like a
it's
paddle
one of
boat with
those,
no paddles.
Oh my gosh.
It's legit.
Yeah, it's a 10-foot. It's one of those 10-foot bass trackers that look like it's just got 2 styrofoam tunes on it. That you can buy. That you used to buy at Kmart for like $130.
Dude, that's pretty great. I mean, if he gets a buck on that thing, it's gonna look pretty dope.
Hell yeah!
It'll make it look real good all of a sudden.
Well, and he's going down the Mississippi River's largest tributary in a fucking 48cc trolling motor. And I'm like, listen, bud.
You're not going to get back upstream. What are you going to do?
You're going to die. Listen, and I'm the executor of his will. I'm going to have to explain to his fucking lawyer and family why he's dead and that I told him not to.
Well, you're the guy with the real boat that's going to have to go pick him up with what's actually going to happen and tow him back upstream.
Exactly. They're going to call me to identify the body when they find him in fucking 6
Dude,
months.
I could barely paddle upstream with a deer in my solo canoe last year. I don't think I could handle a largemouth river like that.
Yeah, it's not great. I hunted on the Mississippi.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a big son of a bitch. I need the fucking horsepower under me, not CC. So that's what I got.
Some HP, not some CC.
That's true. That's true.
Man,
well, buddy, I'll be down there November 7th. Will probably be the next time. I don't think I'm going to make it out for the Illinois opener. I'm going to probably stay home.
Are you? Did you draw for the secret spots this year?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you need to call me because like I said, I'm off until question mark.
All right. I love that.
So I will be doing, my wife is not even working right now. So I will have nothing but free time.
Hey, look at you. All right, buddy. I'll do better. I'll let you know. And we'll have to figure out a time where we can meet up like that and share some beers and you can drag out my buck.
All right. And I got plenty of places to hunt by me. You know, you don't have to be a stranger. You can.
Derek's he's just so proud.
You pull the camper in.
Brian just wants to toss me around because he's like 6'7", big lineman guy. You know, he likes me on little. He's throwing me around. Hey, go over that tree.
How'd you get up there? Oh.
All right, thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate it.
You guys didn't know you had a celebrity on the podcast, did you?
We don't.
No,
Jacob.
We thought it was the other Brian.
The all-time. Listen, that other Brian, he's like 5'8" on his tallest day.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know you were talking to UW Platteville football's all-time career starts leader, did you?
I might have if I read the scorebooks, but I was in the wrestling room in that place.
Talking to 2 Platteville alumni. Look at this.
Engineering
2
makes
nears.
sense. Oh my goodness.
Whoever went to Platteville, what years did you go?
I graduated in 22.
Oh, so okay, never mind. Fuck.
Yeah,
I got underwear older than you, dude.
Yeah, we're old, bro.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right. I'll see you, Derek, Eric, and
Jacob.
Kid. I'll see you guys later.
I love that so much.
Dude, I'm sorry.
That's like when every adult says, I haven't seen you since you were in diapers. You're like, thanks. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Every uncle you see every like 10 years. I remember when you were this big. I don't.
Your nuts got hair on them yet? Shut up. I hate you.
Oh my gosh.
I get that so
Derek usually responds to me right away, so maybe he just doesn't like you guys. I think you're right, Tony. Also, Jacob Barr commented, memories hunting with your kids is greater than 200-inch buck.
Yep.
Like, that's our post tomorrow. That being said, if you don't have kids, like, that statement kind of falls flat.
If you don't have kids, why aren't you shooting 200-inch bucks? Right, Jacob?
I feel like... Because he got away last year, damn it.
Dude, you're
It's home.
Fact, you
But
were close to one.
Honestly, my wife, we get married in July. My wife is getting into hunting now. So there's going to be, she's shot
She's
and
gonna
she's
be
been
better
on
than
hunts
you.
with me. It's not very hard.
Most women are better at most things than guys.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't bring them hunting, because like, we need to have something.
That's just fine.
We'll pray for you.
I'm not compensating for anything, but yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, if you ask me what my mission is this year, is to just have some fun hunts with her. You know, I'm not going to like put a bunch of like expectations.
You say that now, but dude, I will bring my kids out with me, and my wife will have to be like, "Dude, they're 3." Like I'm like,
reminders
no, come
of
on.
what's normal.
It's not normal, but you don't know.
Normal.
You're still thinking like, no, I gotta. And I don't know.
I've had her on hunts with me. Like she's gone on hunts with me. But
you were telling me that, like, dude,
So
hey,
she knows.
FYI, like, it's gonna be hard to keep up, and like, I have that with him. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, he's faster. Okay, a lot of people are, but I'm not.
He gets
stopping.
under all the cover.
I'm not stopping. Like, I can handle it.
Easy to go under the buckbrush.
I had some dude blast
You're
me on-
short,
Did you
you're
see-
old, I'm young. There we go.
Dude, the Facebook comments are
Three best
wild.
friends we're going hunting together this year.
I had some dude blast me on Facebook. I posted the video of me dragging this buck in the sled.
Yeah.
Just winded, huffing, right? Dude inside of like a 15-second microcosm of no context around either side of it. It's like, you pussy. Look at this girl out of breath and out of shape. I'm like, first of all, this is the Okayest Hunter. Second of all, this is the Midwest.
This
This
is
ain't
so
the
on
mountains.
brand.
Third, also, I just dragged this bitch to a river 2 times, okay? Like, yeah, I'm tired.
That's funny because
God.
I have I used to carry.
I can't take a fucking breath without someone like dogpiling me.
I like to like carry deer out. It's a weird thing. Like originally when I first did it, people thought I was flexing, and in reality, I had a lot of blowdowns to go over, and it was a lot better than dragging it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot quicker.
Dragging sucks.
But now it's like kind of like this is really weird to say, so I'm not putting this expectation on anyone.
I love
this
when
like-
something's
is
prefaced
this
with
like
that.
Quick
Yeah,
Trip
right.
brand ambassador level, or like probably a
not
little
that
under
cool.
that?
I'm not
Probably
that-
so still underneath that. Okay, you're good.
It's like a respect thing, right? Like if one of your loved ones was dying and they were in an emergency, like you would carry them. You wouldn't like attach a rope to their neck and pull them across the ground. You know, like I feel like depending on who it is. I know you probably have favorite kids, but I'm just kidding.
That my kids will listen someday. It's true what they say.
Yeah, but like I enjoy it from that perspective, and then like there are times when I can't really do it too, and so like I feel like it's a testament to myself. Like if I could push myself to do it, and again, I'm young.
I just don't know
do
how.
It now.
I wouldn't actually mind doing it. I just don't. I've never quartered up a deer in the field before, like to pack.
No,
out.
not quartered.
He's talking about carrying
Yeah,
a
grab that-
deer,
grab
Whole
that
physical
sweatshirt.
body.
like
That's
I see what you're saying.
there's
I, can't-
the design.
putting it on his back
I understand.
and walking out like it's a squat bar. That's what he's doing.
I understand now.
It's
I'm putting him in
not
a bag. And
like
he's-
everyone thinks it's like supposed to be a flex, and wow, does it sound
Sometimes
bad that
it's
I'm
easier.
mentioning this on a podcast? But it's more like
Yeah, this is gonna live forever.
yeah, that's great.
he's cutting
It's
this up.
more along the lines of like what I'm trying to relate this to family, in that like it's what you get out of the experience, and
Yeah.
you're like
You reap what you sow.
Yeah, like I spend way too long editing videos to like try to do homage to the amazing memory I had.
Mhm.
You know, like to try to do respect to
Dude,
the
yeah,
life
because
I
when
took.
you're like, 62 or 78, or pick some number that's far down the future, like, man, I remember when I was in shape enough to do that.
Yeah.
Glad
Well,
I documented. Glad I did it that way.
well, it's
Because
like
you're not going to do it when you're 78.
I feel like it gives you such a. This is how I describe like to people that are like getting into hunting, but are engaging me in a conversation about it. When I know I can go further than just like the X's and O's. When they ask like, well, why do you do it? Like, why are you okay with killing an animal and all that stuff? And I was like, well, I always describe what it's like to do that, and particularly public land. If you're chasing mature deer, why would you make those decisions other than to feed your ego? And it's just for me, it boils down to it's the hardest I can possibly challenge myself. And everyone else is trying to do it. So there's a bit of a chip on your shoulder, but like you'll go all season of just these long, grueling accesses, and you'll pass on every deer under the sun. And, you'll have 50 deer come by and the right one won't come by. And you'll have never seen them, especially in cattails. You're not going to observe that deer unless you're shooting them. And like, you'll just go through this grueling season, and you'll spend hours upon hours, for me, 300 miles of scouting, across so many trips, so many different days, so many different hours, so many different hunts of just failure, going in, going out, coming in with confidence and losing it on the way out. And you're slowly going in with less and less and less, but you're still running the playbook. And you're there on the 11th hour of one of your last sits. And in 15 seconds, you go from having no idea if that deer's there, just like every other hunt, to it came in, you shot it, it's dead. And how much of an appreciation does that give you for how short life can be? Is just, this thing had no idea I was doing this, maybe, but like, I just put everything I humanly could towards this goal, and I was failing at it repeatedly and drastically. And then it went from the absolute lowest of lows, like I'm about to be done and this is over, to the
You ever
highest
deer
of
hunt so hard
highs.
that you cried?
Yeah.
Not from tears of
frequently.
joy of getting it, but like misery, failure. What am I doing out here? This is terrible.
Yeah, you should watch my Nebraska
point?
hunt.
You know what I mean?
I did a spot and stalk 1 mile to a deer, and 2 days in a row.
I watched this one.
Spot and stock 1 mile to a deer, got within 25 yards of him, self-filming 2 camera angles, and was looking at the subordinate bucks he was betting with, and he was 25 yards to my right in the open. I could have shot him bedded, and I just thought he was with subordinate bucks because I lost him over a ridge, and I saw him not come out from behind that. And then the next day, giant buck, I mean, he's 150s, 160s, bloody velvet, like dripping from his antlers, raking it off in front of me. And I go on a spot and stalk to him. Again, 2 angles, 2 cameras. I'm kneeling 40 yards from his bed, and a side-by-side comes off the private land and scares him. And I didn't know that that's what happened. And for some reason, he popped up, and it just ran off. And
You
so,
were
like,
pretty close to him, weren't you?
yeah. And like, that was, I mean, I had walked 400 yards in socks, had cactus in my feet and stuff, and in my knees.
I had Jared Shepard tell me one time that he peed his pants.
I believe
on purpose. He's like, I came all this way. He's like, I had to go so bad. He's like, I'm laying there, like, he just pissed himself.
I would have tucked it out the zipper.
Like,
I have tucked it out the zipper. In a
another
turkey
caller.
blind.
I'm going to bring another caller in, just to,
Break up
I hate
my
interrupting.
ass talk. No, you're.
So
He was on a really good track
I know.
there.
I know.
I would prefer
Look,
you
our
do.
callers are important. So we got Jacob Barr, who just put that comment on the screen here. Jacob, you're live on the show, man. How you doing?
Yo, what's up, guys? Nice
Hey.
to finally call in.
Yeah. Good to hear from you.
Where are you from?
Everybody hearing me good?
Yeah.
Southeastern Michigan, just outside of the Detroit area.
Nice.
All right. So do you hunt up north, or where are you hunting? Like, if you're just outside of Detroit, you probably gotta slog a little bit.
Two different spots, both about 2.5 hour drives. I got a friend in South Central Michigan, grew up on some property, so I've got connections down there. And then my in-laws own a place up in the Thumb, and there's a whole lot of public land up there. So to me, that's actually more fun. I like the deer camp with my buddies down on his parents' property, and that's where I have taken my largest buck. But as I call them with my kids, like the adventures, that's out on the public land, like 8,000 acres of public land. Like, hey, yeah, exactly. Let's go have some fun. So I finally got my kids to bed. I was trying to call in earlier, but they finally went to sleep. I got a 6-year-old and 4-year-old.
All right.
Your guys' showtime.
What's one of your favorite memories hunting with your kids? I know you said that you've had a lot of good ones.
So last year, my daughter, who's 6 now, 5 last year, day before the election. And the only reason I remember that is, like, long story short, I shot a buck, but she's with me, public land. I'd had the day off before, drove her up to the Thumb area with me. And she's hunted with me a few other times, and we've seen deer and stuff. And the spot we hike into is about 900 to 1,000 yards in on public land through certain areas where it's right next to a creek. So you're either walking in shin-high mud or, like you're saying, like that switchgrass that's, to me, waist high, to her,
much higher,
like head high.
I can feel that.
I'm trying to carry my bow. Oh yeah, I'm trying to carry my bow. I've got the pop-up blind across my shoulders in a little sling sack, and then picking her up at certain spots, and then walking in. And this area is just so beautiful. It's near Lake Huron, and so we walk in. Poor thing's that got asthma, and the weather sucks. It's raining on us, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And it's like 4 o'clock. We're all set up and everything. She's got her chair. She's got some books. She's got her little backpack full of snacks, and no electronics for us. She's got 3 books that she'll bring, and then apples, granola bars, and a couple of bottles of like apple juice or something like that. I can't remember what she had, but sun starts to go down. We're set up. I'm explaining how, like, the deer are going to come from here or over there. And remember last year they were over there. So it's like 4 o'clock, and all of a sudden we hear some movement to our right, and this doe starts walking to us. I get my rangefinder out. She's 35 yards, and she's walking straight towards us. Poor thing, like I said, she's got asthma. She's been coughing nonstop because of the weather. And all of a sudden I see her little arm raise up right next to me, and I just hear, like as I'm getting ready to draw my bow back. That doe stops on a dime, looks around, takes off, goes bounding off in an exactly like, I'm like, am I allowed to swear?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've had a few F-bombs.
You can do that here.
Oh, yeah. So under my breath, I'm like, fuck. And she goes, Daddy. And she's got her little binoculars. Daddy, I see a deer running off. Look at its tail flipping. And I'm like, yes, you do. And so for the next hour, I think legal light was 5:20, 5:30, something like that. It gets to be about 5 o'clock. We haven't seen or heard anything. And I'm thinking like, well, at least she saw a deer. Like that's always a win. And then I hear this splash in the creek next to us. And it's at 5:15 at this point. All of a sudden I look down to ask her a question. I look back up and there's an 8-point at 14 yards right in front of me and walking to my right. So I blacked out. I just drew back and shot. And I heard the arrow hit and he took off. And I called my, like, couple minutes later, I heard a crash. I was fairly certain. So I call my buddy who I hunt with all the time. I'm also colorblind, so tracking is miserable for me. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? I just shot a deer. It's about to be dark. I have my 5-year-old. It's raining. He's like, well, where's that? Do you have a dog tracker or something? I was like, yeah. And so I called this dog tracker guy, send him a couple of pictures. I had found my arrow because I use lighted knock. So I found my arrow super quick, bright red, covered in bubbles. I'm like, oh my God, I think I killed this deer. So I send the pictures to the guy. He's like, all right, I'll be there around 8:45. So take her back to the house, get her some snacks, throw her socks in the dryer. And then we go back out a couple hours later. He's got his little.
You brought your dog?
Well, it was just me and her. So
Dude,
like, I can't leave her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't leave her at home or anything. So it was just me and her. So at this point, I knew like I didn't need all the extra stuff. So I just carried her on my shoulders for the second one. So another 900 yards in, her on my shoulders.
She will never forget.
Following Copper the tracking beagle, and show the guy my arrow. And he's like, oh yeah, looking at the pictures. He's like, I think we can find it real quick. I sit down with her because he's like, I'm going to go ahead. And then as we're tracking, you guys can follow about 50 yards behind. Less than 2 minutes later, I hear, and I can hear, we found her deer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, shit. Yes. All right. So like he had an apprentice with him. So the apprentice takes us, like, he had the GPS with him. So he's like, all right, 80-yard track, but totally worth, because I was not going to find him. He had buried himself in some brush. And then took that, like, packed it up that night because it was, again, it was humid and rainy and stuff for us. And it was like 71 degrees that night. So I just bought some ice at the gas station, gutted it, bought some ice at the gas station, shoved it in the back of my truck, shoved some ice in its chest cavity, drove 2.5 hours home, got home around 1 o'clock in the morning, threw her in bed, skinned the deer real quick, threw him up in my garage, and then just sat down and was like, what the fuck just happened? I just shot a buck with my daughter on public land. Like,
that is awesome.
And I think total growth, maybe 110.
But that's the real flex. The real flex is like,
that's a great 8.
Yeah. And that's
I can barely do it without a kid. To do it with a kid is a whole different flex altogether.
Oh yeah. With calling it a ground blind through all that.
I don't give a
rat's about like shooting a 200
on public with your 5-year-old is a freaking feat, man.
They have needs. You're talking about like all the stats, the chatter, the questions, the memory. They don't know how to regulate their.
There should be a record book for that.
No doubt. Like, you want to make a hunt real hard, bring a kid with you.
If I was using a mouth tab on one leg, I still don't think it's a fair comparison.
Well done. That's a great story, James.
We broke down the deer. I appreciate it. Yeah, we broke down the deer the next day, and she asked me. I do my own Euro mount, so I was doing as I was butchering it. I'm doing the Euro mount in the garage, and she goes, hey, that's my buck, right? I was like, yeah.
Basically.
She goes, okay, so that skull's going on my wall? I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Talk about a
man.
rich
Dude,
Well,
good.
anytime we have like friends over, she's like, "Do you guys want to come see my
See my
deer
buck?
skull on my wall?"
Oh, that's the best.
That's great because you can
Yeah,
interact
she's
with
my,
it too.
she's my
if it's a
little
year-old.
weirdo. She's got. Oh yeah, she's 5. Well, she's 6 now, and she's got. I'm a RN, and I work in cardiothoracic surgery. I assist with like open heart and thoracic like lung surgeries and such. And so I've got pictures of like hearts and things like that I'll bring home to her, and like, oh, look at this gross thing we pulled out of somebody today, or look at this person's heart and how it's beating. And so she's got pictures of diseased lungs and hearts and a deer skull on her wall. So I'm like, oh God, what am I doing to this child? But
She's
we're
gonna
having
be
fun.
She's gonna be a hell of a hunter, that's for sure.
That is awesome.
That's
though.
cool. Have you been listening to the show for some time? To be this is your first time calling in?
I found out about you guys. When did you go on Wired to Hunt with Mark Kenyon?
2 years ago,
Yeah,
3 years ago, something like that. Yeah, me, you, and Greg and Tyler did that one.
Yeah,
That's cool.
whenever you guys were on Wired to Hunt, because Eric, you said you started hunting in 18?
I started hunting.
2018?
I was
So
probably
17.
16 years old.
Or, well, no, you know, that's right. You've been
But I-
hunting longer, or like you've been around
You
it
started
longer.
bow hunting.
Bow hunting and getting serious about it, probably that 2016, 17.
Okay, yeah. So I was a new hunter in 2018 or 19.
Okay.
So that's why that stuck out to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man.
That's great. No, I'm glad that you found us.
Yeah.
Mark's got incredible reach with his show.
Oh,
so.
dude, I loved your guy from the get go. Like your guys' message of like, because the first place I ever hunted was very much like we pass on bucks that are under this thing, and we pass on this, and that buck's going to be
You're
really
like, so
good.
what am I
next
doing
year.
out
And I
here?
was like, I just want to
Should I
kill
bring a
some
camera?
deer.
I want to see what it's like.
Yeah, like I just want to kill some deer, and so like they're always down for shooting does, which is fine. But it was like, if I want to take a forky, can I take a forky? Nope. Okay.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
You know, respect the private, but
Yep.
So that's why I really gravitated to you guys.
No, it's cool. I'm glad you've
awesome.
been able
Love the
to
message.
tune in and follow along. And thanks for sharing that with us. That's a big deal. One that you just shared. That's
Great story.
Yeah.
really
That's
special.
the
Oh,
best story
fun.
I've heard
Like
for a long
anybody,
time.
that'd be anybody that I would, like has kids or has cousins, nephews, whatever, like that's, I'm like, just take it, man. Like it's fun, builds them resilience and builds memories. I ended up getting a tattoo I cut that deer's hoof off and got the hoof tattooed on my calf.
Dude,
Actually,
so
so that's
You're a freaking
permanent
maniac.
for
I
me.
love it.
Could you come to Wisconsin
Yeah,
sometime? we
Bring
got
your
Peter and
daughter.
a fish fry. I almost made a fish fry for this even.
Ooh, we've been talking about fish fries.
Look, Foam Fest next year.
Hey!
There we go.
Actually, I've wanted to go. I've wanted to go every single year. It's just really hard to try and coordinate PT. My wife's a teacher, so
yeah.
Derek, I know.
Yeah,
you're-
I grow
so
good.
summer is
Cool.
hard to coordinate, but yeah, just love you guys and finally decided to call in. So
Well, thanks for
appreciate
doing it.
you.
was good
Really
to hear from you.
appreciate it,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, good luck this season too.
And I hope your wife's school year's starting off really good.
Yeah.
Hope she's got some great classes.
It's rough. She just finished her master's in special ed, and she has 6 kids with varying levels of severity of autism, and it's
a
off
big
to an
role.
interesting start, is the way she put it. So
Yeah, well, we need special ed
So it's
teachers
fun
more than
stuff.
ever, so we appreciate what she does. Tell her we really appreciate her role.
Tell your little girl
we'll do,
congrats
man.
too.
Hopefully, thank you. Will do. I hope to meet all you guys one day at least. I've loved the show, and yeah, Foam Fest 2026 sounds like a good goal.
Awesome, man.
Roger that. Have a good one. Thanks for calling in, man.
See ya.
Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.
That was really cool.
It's fun that we get to do the call thing.
Yeah.
I always debate. I'm like, we have a guest here. Should I do the calling thing? And yeah, clearly it's worth it.
I'm
so.
not really much of a guest. Like,
You're a guest. You're a
keep
guest.
downplaying
You're literally
yourself,
a guest.
dude.
you know,
I mean,
well,
You're a headliner guest.
Nah,
You're an
shut up.
awesome guest,
But
dude.
I
Slap
really
down.
wanted
What was the post that you did agree with though that like really struck me? Because that did stand out. Do you remember that? I don't remember the specifics, but I remember thinking to myself, like,
You should watch
for a young dude, this dude gets it.
every one of my videos has there's some videos that are tactics oriented, but every one of my videos with a kill has a message in it, and that's the only reason I would
Yeah.
ever make a video is to I'm trying to think of the post. I mean, I had a post recently about.
It was a while back, but it's something we posted and you shared. You commented something like that, and I was like,
yeah, I
dude,
think we were
who is this
talking
kid?
about the memories of my dad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like my dad, you said something about like your kids won't remember what deer you shot, but like they will remember the effort you took to be with them.
Yes,
essentially, very paraphrasing.
Yes.
But and I commented something like
I think you shared a moment with your dad and
I
how
said
it empowered.
basically like my dad's killed many great bucks over the years, and I've seen plenty of bucks in our.
He never
basement
missed
walls.
a match or something.
Yeah, so like he used to drive to hopefully he hears this. He used to drive to wrestling venues like high schools. He'd drive to like baseball fields and stuff like that and football fields just so he could make sure that like he knew where the venue was. He would drive like up to 2 hours like the night before just to make sure he knew where the venue was and we were going to get there smoothly. And then he could like envision us like succeeding and
Is
stuff.
he an engineer also?
No, but he would do that
Fair
like
question.
just because he cared so much about like and I said like guess which one I remember more, you know.
Yeah.
Is him being there for those moments. And like I've been very, very lucky to have him in my life, and I've just been very lucky to have many people in many different circumstances in my life, which but
there's a post going around, like you see these trends, and at least maybe I do because I'm like I pay attention. I'm always looking for inspiration and all that, but it's like I hope that when someone asks or says to my kid, like, you remind me of your mom or you remind me of your dad, I hope that instills a good thing and not a bad thing.
That's true, right?
Like, I hope that when someone says, you remind me of your dad, they're not like, that guy's a fucking asshole.
no, that would make me very
I hope
happy.
they're like, yeah, my dad's a good guy. And like what you're saying right now. And when you said that as a dad, I was like, dude, you just struck a chord that has not been struck before.
Yeah.
Like that does it. Like that's it. You know, that's a big deal.
It's funny because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a dad and I already think of those scenarios. Like I already think of like, how can I set my life up so that I'm here for my kids?
Yeah.
Like so that when I have a kid, I can make an impact in their lives.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I've been so lucky to have good and bad examples. Like I've been really lucky to have phenomenal people in my life. And I've been very lucky to have, you know, some narcissist, and that's diagnosed. It's not me just throwing out the word narcissist because it's a trend, but like I've had some very difficult people in my life, and that's a blessing because like you can take an example that's good
And you wouldn't know that
emulate
it's
it.
good unless you had something bad to
Like-
contrast
like
it
you
against.
could, you can
You get a good job out of college and you don't know that's
Right.
a good job until you go take a bad one.
right. Like you
know?
can take a bad example and be like, that's the only thing I ever saw. I'm going to replicate that. Or you could say, hey, this person's living a terrible life. I'm going to do the opposite, you know, and you can do the same thing with a good person too. And like, I mean, life is beautiful because it ends, you know, and that's reality. So like finite things we can learn a lot from. And I've wanted to ask you, and I'm sorry because I'm a guest on the podcast, but
dude.
and I admitted it there. Sorry. But like there's no one like I resonate more with than like you, than your message and the
that's
stuff
nice.
you put out. And it usually takes like a lot to get to that point where you would feel inclined to make that your main thing. And I know you've talked about your kids a lot, so it could be that, but like, is there something that like changed your life that made you see that this is far more important than everything else? Because it's clearly not coming from a place of like, you want to be different and make money. It's clearly not that. And it's clearly not malice of like, these people are doing it wrong and I want to do it right. It's coming from a really genuine place from you. And I can see that.
I think I appreciate the observation there.
That's a great freaking question.
I mean,
woods-
I've just thought about it
No,
for a long
it-
time.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
he's
everyone has their hardships. So like mine isn't any greater or less than anyone else's. Like everyone goes through shit. So, and I've learned that.
so you've gone through some serious stuff is what I'm
I've
hearing
gone through
because
some, yeah,
you're downplaying it a little bit.
And some of those things, they adversity builds character. I think that's probably even a book title that exists, something like that. Like having been in the depths of some of the, I mean, like honestly, the pits of hell, if you ask me, without going into any detail.
I could sense that.
The woods and deer hunting to a degree. Before I actually deer hunted, I was hunting in my kid brain. Like I was watching outdoor shows and I thought I was like I didn't have a bow in my hand, but I was damn near hunting these things, you know. That saved. I don't want to say saved me, but it was the only light that I had in this long period of time in my life. And so when I tell Derek things in the field, like this is the one thing that gives me my childlike spirit, I mean that in the best possible sense of like genuinely, childlike spirit. Like this is it, like the happiness part. But in addition to that, it's a double. There's a couple more layers to it because it's also the only thing that I got to have a childlike spirit through. And at the end of the day, we chase big deer, little deer. It doesn't meet. All of it's the same to me because it's the thing that gets us out there. Mm-hmm. And then you layer God into it and spirituality, and suddenly it's like, oh man, God was present the whole damn time, wasn't he? That son of a bitch. Like, and I have a relationship with God, so if you're gonna
me too.
slam me for that, that's fine. But
I think we have a lot in common. I feel like I could see that in you, and like
distilling it all down. And then I read, all of the Stoicism stuff, and that was just like,
that's big.
I was like, I've never read something that I've related to more in my entire life. Which is funny because Stoicism was if you think about like what laid the fertile ground for religion to take place and for spirituality, like that was their first technically. And so the fact that I stumbled into Stoicism and that led me into all that spiritual stuff, by and large, like it's wild to me. So I pull a lot from just that. And I think there's nothing bad that can come from the deer woods.
Yeah.
And it's the great leveler and all the humility and all the stuff. And it was like a light for me in the darkest times of my life. So
the video that we just talked about, the first Nebraska video from 1.1 miles to 25 yards, it starts with Marcus Aurelius's chapter 6, verse 13, whatever it is. But it's about the obstacle is the way, essentially. It's talking about
the obstacle
all that.
Becomes the way. Mm-hmm.
So I quote that in the beginning and then I go through the obstacle, but it's about continuing on, and I don't know. I saw that in you, and like, I know everyone wants to say like something saved them. And I think that's a reality. And I think it's like, I'm a man of faith too.
I wouldn't have even known that I needed to had been saved because to your point, if you're in something bad, you don't even know it.
You have nothing to
contrast. I had nothing good to contrast it against. Yeah. So to me, that was just how it was.
And it's hard when you're young because like it's you in that set of circumstances. You never develop who you are outside of that circumstance. Like it's like when people get in a relationship, like everyone knows that girl in high school that put up with a guy that like was horrible to her, dated her for years. Well, she never defined herself without him.
The movie It Ends With Us is actually really good.
Yeah.
To depict exactly what you're saying, because it takes the viewer through the perspective of the girl.
Yep.
And then as you're watching it, you don't realize that you're watching a false reality.
Yeah.
You're watching it as if all of her justifications were actually true. And then eventually you have a paradigm shift in the movie and you realize, oh, he actually was beating the shit out of her.
Right.
And she was making up all these excuses in her mind. And that's what we had seen.
Yeah.
It's wild what the mind can do.
I went through something that changed my perspective too. And like, I'm not like, I mean, I think people have their own lives and what they're willing to talk about too. So like some people say I'm not ashamed, and I don't think that's the right word for it, but like I've never said this on a podcast before too. And I was kind of planning it for when I started my own podcast, but like I was suicidal at one point. Like,
I would never have guessed that.
Certain yeah. So like I had a gun in my mouth twice in my life, and the only thing that kept me from doing it was picturing how my mom would react to like cleaning my body. And so I went through a lot of things. One of them was like, I got a double concussion. I got a concussion while I was recovering from it. I got another. You have to retrain your balance. You have to do like eye-ear coordination training for 6 months. You sit in a dark room and get terrible migraines.
How did you get the concussions?
Both in wrestling, and I actually had to quit football because of it. I was better at football than wrestling, but it knocked out twice. And so I had to go through one of the things they do when you have to go through all that therapy and you get diagnosed with that is you have to have an emotional therapist as well, especially for youth, because you don't know that that's your emotional release as well, like kind of similar to the woods. So I went through this period where I was on all these teams, and I was at the time like an elite athlete, and I was on these select teams. I was on travel ball and all that. I was playing varsity football as a freshman, playing varsity baseball as a freshman. I was, setting records in wrestling in our 8th grade program going into my freshman year and stuff. And like, now it's nothing for 6 months for the first time in my life, and I played these 3 sports my whole life, and it was everything. And
that was almost your identity.
Yeah. And
I'm certain
it
was
similar. Yeah. And I couldn't see my friends. All my friends grew together through sports. I couldn't hang out with them. I couldn't call them. I couldn't text. Couldn't even read a book. I couldn't watch TV. And it was just me in a dark room for months. And I realized that I really didn't like the person I was sitting with, and that was a very, very hard thing to come to terms with.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I fast forward through the hardship, the suicidal thoughts and actions and stuff like that. I was like, all right, if we're going to live, like, we're going to find a reason to live. Like, we're going to do it. And I'm not going to go back on this decision. It's going to happen. I'm going to find a way to make it through. And I was like, I have no one, I have nothing. I have a great family, thankfully, which saved my life. I'm just going to do what I did when I was last happy. And that was wander through the freaking woods with my dad and go fishing. And this summer when I recovered, the only thing I could do was like cast a rod and shoot a bow. And so I spent more time that summer on water than I did on land for like 3 months. And I finally got back through that summer, got back to school, and all of a sudden I was like hunting and fishing like crazy. I still picked up the sports and stuff, but I had a lot of friends that like, everyone had made their clicks at this point. And then I was outside of them, but I was, amicable with everyone. And I would have friends that would be like, hey, like Jacob's doing this hunting and fishing stuff. Like, we should see what that's about. And I got people into hunting and fishing. And that was so much better than hunting and fishing. And I found that
shared experience is really important.
Like you spend more time doing that. And I found that my life had value beyond what I originally thought I was. And I found that I had value through my passions. And I knew that even when I couldn't do them, I was still someone that was going to find a way to live and find a way to contribute to others, even if I wasn't doing them, which was why your tattoo literally made me bring this up.
That's cool.
But I thought of that, and it's become, I believe it's my purpose in life to share this. And I've had people message me saying that this message has brought them back from suicide. And that means so much more to me than any deer or anything like that. And if I can share anything, it would be that. And that's why my channel is The Wild Calling. It's not like the wild calling. It's not the wildest calling to you. It's that I have this wild, innate calling to sharing this with people. And I don't explain that much because I want people to take from it what they will. And I want them to see that within the videos and within the messages and the things I talk about. But it's about finding what is innate within you by putting yourself in a scenario where you have to lose everything else. And you have to let go of your prior thought processes, and you have to let go of all the other things that worried you about your workday. And you have to slow down and just look at this track. And you have to just be quiet and be aware of the wind direction and analyze the deer's behavior. And you go through all these lows and lows and lows, and you still perpetuate on. You still move on. You move forward because there's no other option, and you might not enjoy it.
Unless there's mosquitoes.
Yeah, right.
Then you give up.
Well, and it's like, you might not enjoy it at times, but like you're adamant that you're going to see the horizon. And then you go from like, it's all about to be over to I just succeeded. And now you get to share that with everyone. And that's just like, that means just so much more to me than anything else. And I feel like you don't get to that point unless you got to the point that it was all taken away.
And this is not to beg on crossbow hunters. It's not the point. You mentioned a crossbow hunter on the property you were crossing through. And there's a great majority of people that will never push past when your body is telling you it's done and your brain gives in and says, okay, we're done. I honestly believe like it's 90% of the human population will just then stop there. There's another percentage of people that will press on and realize that you could probably go 10x what your body is telling you it can't do. And those are the moments I talk about. Have you ever cried chasing a whitetail? Like, have you ever cried from doing something so physically impossible because your brain told you to give up, 10x ago, and you kept pressing on? Like you will cross a threshold that you could not possibly believe was achievable. Mm-hmm. And I think that is deer hunting.
Yeah.
It's also not. It also can be the crossbow hunter that just wants to go sit on the log because there's some peace there. So like, I'm okay with all of it. The other part has some intrinsic reward that can't be captured.
And it might be, like you said, it might just be surface level, and that's great too.
Yeah. Hey, if you're out there, you're still doing something.
Right.
First, I just want to say thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think people need to hear that kind of stuff, and I think coming from you, it carries a lot of weight. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the second to do that. Yes.
I think what people see in both of you, and I just talked about this with you, but I didn't know this all about you yet. But I think what people, what we all relate to with the woods and just the outdoor experience is this truth that exists there, this genuine truth that all your other shit stops when you walk away from that car. And the woods is the woods. It's going to do it whether you're there or not. And we relate to that because we're part of that. That's nature. And that's what I feel like people relate to in your wild calling and like how you experience it. And I think what you've built here, which is really freaking cool too, is you saw how this was an escape for you, a truth for you, that safe place for you. And you saw how people were kind of taking that for granted or misusing that or like making others feel bad about their experience within that truth. And you called them on it and you said, hey, we can do better than this, guys. And here's how you do it. And then you started doing it. And like, I have tons of teachers who are like, you do a podcast? Like, why made you want to be a podcast? And I was like, I don't. I just have a guy that I really believe in, like what he's doing. And I think he's doing a really good job at it. And that's like what I see.
I was bullied a lot as a kid too. And that's the other thing. So when I see that behavior, I realize
you call them.
I have a lot of empathy for the bully. Because for them to be acting out towards someone, that means you're actually going through something probably worse than what I'm dealing with. And so like, fire with fire is not a good outcome. Can we just have some like what would Jesus do?
But that's why you decided to show the way instead of fight back.
Be the example.
You decided to say, here's how you positively impact the space.
Which is really hard, by the way, because we're all human beings. So like, which I've talked about before. I'm like, look, by the way, I also want to punch people in the face.
Right. And it's like I feel like I look at people that are like really difficult or rude and like, I always leave those conversations like, well, you'd be at work and someone's just a pain to deal with and everyone knows who they are. But like you talk to them and they're like, man, like this guy just sucks. I wanted something from him and he's being such a jerk about it. I'm like, yeah, man, that must be awful to live in his head. They're like, what? Like,
and Marcus Aurelius also said that there's a purpose for that person too. And we need those people in this world to function. So like you're gonna deal with that person today, tomorrow, this week. And at some point, you're implicit in the ugliness if you're going to be an asshole back to them because you know that that's going to happen. If you know there's a banana peel 10 feet in front of you and you still decide to slip on it, you're a dipshit. That's the point.
I give you guys credit for dealing
really bad, guys. You can
I give you guys credit for dealing with that in the adult world because I deal with that in the adolescent teen world.
Do you want to talk by yourself?
I would love to.
We're going to go sword fight a little bit.
Hey, there's one potty, and just let me know how it goes. When you guys walk back in, can we get a shot of your pants to see where the splashes are? I wish you guys could see this right now. But yeah, I do really suck at dealing with it with adults, with stupidity and with jerkiness and assholeness. I'm really good at dealing with it with teenagers. Because I understand it, and the bully, like,
they haven't been through it all yet.
But man, when somebody's like 50 and they're still just being, I don't have patience. I just go, you're not in my life anymore.
When they're 50 or 60 or 70, I'm like, how are you not?
Have you not figured this out yet?
Are you supposed to get wiser?
Like, how have you not figured this out yet?
Or do you just like hit? Do you plateau?
We're gonna find out in about 10 years.
You start going the other direction. You just become jaded because you've seen it all already, and you're like, you realize you can't make a change.
Yeah, maybe
that Okayest Hunter. That was a good effort, but man,
10 years from now, maybe this podcast will feel a lot different.
It's called the Jaded Hunter.
The Jaded Hunter. These young assholes running around with.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pee my pants. I hope he hurries up. We should, and then we'll bring it in for a landing, so you can start to wind her down. But this is a good show.
A little longer than normal, and the bladder's showing it. Your bladder timer's about ready to
COVID
pop.
ruined my bladder.
Quick, run, go!
Because my brain thinks I can pee whenever I want now.
Oh, I had to race like a piss horse.
He was sweating while you were in there.
Try to go as quick as I could.
You did go quick, but he was still sweating bullets, man.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, it's just like, I mean, you can just tell when someone has that kind of perspective too. And I feel like there's plenty of people that that are much smarter than me that become wise and care about more valuable things through not suffering. Like they take a good example and then emulate that good example. And, it's funny too, because like people are like, that guy regurgitates stuff. And we talked about this a little bit. They're like, he regurgitates stuff. And there's certainly a lot of people that do that and they've never experienced it, right? But like, it's the same people like don't watch what that person's doing. So they have no clue if that person ever experienced it. And a lot of people don't share every experience they have. And then at the same time, it's just, I don't know.
Well, it's always easier to like call it out or be a naysayer, right? Because that's easy. But to do the research and actually like understand what the person's about is a lot more time consuming. People don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, what you put online is completely within your control too. So it's like, no one is verbatim 100% what they put online because of the nature of they aren't live streaming their life 24/7. Like you can do as little editing as possible, but you're still controlling what clip goes on there and like what you say and what you do and stuff like that.
What your digital footprint looks like, you're shaping it, right?
It's just funny because like, and this is such a 180 to what we were just talking about. But like I'll call it the old guard or whatever, which I, as you probably can tell, associate with far more than my own generation. Like they are oftentimes like, if you talk to them politically, it's like less regulation by the government. Like they shouldn't be controlling our lives. And then you talk to them about like the people that are on podcasts and getting sponsorships and like, that's bullshit. Like this guy's young. He doesn't have $60 on the wall. We shouldn't be listening to him. You guys should ban him from content. Like let's regulate him. And it's just like, dude, the market will regulate itself. Like if this guy's full of shit, guess what? He's not going to kill deer and he's not going to hang around, and people aren't going to listen to him.
I've already seen that take shape over the years. I've seen people enter the stream and I've seen them come off.
I think some of them
more than I can
really
remember.
about.
And I remember a lot of them. I'm like, man, what happened to that guy? We've had some of them on our podcast.
Yeah.
Several, actually.
Well, and it used to be.
And there becomes a respect once you're in the game long enough.
You just told a story to me about one of these folks from a long time ago, not too long ago.
Oh, yeah, I don't know which one, but even like showing up at a trade show, we had our booth set up in there. Probably looks familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now we're there with you. Like, we're literally there with the other brands. Now we're a part of the community in a way that if you just, not to say everyone needs to exhibit, that's not the point. But when you like start to show up and it's not a lack of respect that I think the old guard has. I think it's a level of trust.
Yeah,
that I think
they've been deceived so many times, which I can relate to because, like, how you said you like watched like hunting videos when you were younger and stuff. I used to make. This is combining engineering and hunting real quick. But I used to sit underneath our coffee table and I would take paper towel rolls, like empty paper towel rolls, and toilet paper rolls and duct tape, and make little rifles out of them, and watch like The Truth and stuff like that, and like shoot elk and stuff like underneath the table and stuff like. That's how I grew up, and so like at the same time, like every gimmick in that era under the sun was thrown at you, and like there's a lot of people in not the same situation, like telling you how it is, and that sucks. That's deceptive because you might go down years following that path, but the thing is like. In everything, in every other industry, we'll call it industry, but every other community, every other walk of life, they're older. Everyone still within the hunting industry is clamoring over who made what first. Well, no one's arguing over who made the first pen. Like people innovate upon designs and they become saturated, and it's unfortunate. But like in reality, is like hunting in the hunting community and products in the hunting industry are very young. Very, very young compared to a lot of other innovation in other areas, like a phone or a laptop or something like that. So it's tough when you have such a young space where people can't always differentiate between real, authentic things and the truth and falsehood. But everywhere else, it's up to the consumer to determine it. Everywhere else, it's like, well...
There's a morality in our space that doesn't exist in other spaces. We're taking lives of animals,
and there's so much mystery to it.
That does have a different layer to it than makeup or beauty or something like that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Those gimmicks, I'm too stupid to have even understood. When I was a kid watching, I just was like deer, tree, outdoors, crunchy leaves. Like none of the other stuff even like made it into my brain. So like people, those videos are full of shit, and I'm like, they probably were, but I didn't see it.
Well, I just
saw And then as a 12-year-old who wasn't allowed to have guns and I was scared of them, and like I was just like, I just want to go play in the woods and pretend I'm deer hunting.
Right.
And it was like when fall would come around, it like I could feel it in your bones.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like the wild calling. I know there's a different dimension to what you're saying, but I was just like, I just need to be out there.
This guy must be some sort of brand ambassador.
I took a long time to meditate on that. On the
it's
decision.
good. It's important to do that when you're naming things. It's one of my favorite activities to do as a marketer is to name shit.
Yeah, it's. I think it's important that we understand that we need to try things out for ourselves. You know, you aren't going, like we said with instinct, like you're not going to form your instinct if you don't operate on it. You know, if you don't operate under the conditions that you thought of there. So like, you're not going to ever succeed using your own strategy if you don't make it your own strategy. So like, you could listen to what someone says on a podcast and it might get you a deer, but like you want to try those things out, and to make them bulletproof, you try it. And if it can't fail, then it's a truth. You know, so it's just like, and there's nothing that won't fail in the outdoors, no matter how right you are. But I feel like it's just so important that we take what we're given, we try them for ourselves, and we make it our own journey. We make it our own learning, and we apply it to our own situation, because there's no one out there, no matter how many how many days they follow a buck, or how many collars they had on a study, or how many big bucks they've killed on this land, that land, all across whatever states. There's no one that's going to encapsulate every situation. There's a really good chance that whoever you're listening to, very much so, including myself, is telling you something that works for them and doesn't work for you. And that doesn't mean they're wrong.
Side by side on a neighboring
regurgitating.
property that blows a buck out that you're like, can't account for that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's, it doesn't mean that they're wrong or regurgitating. Yeah. You know, it just means that they're trying something that works for them. And you know what? If they're bullshitting, then guess what? They're going to go away because they're doing it for the wrong. I mean, not only are they not going to be popular or not succeed, but they're also doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, you know, that's draining.
Even if wrong, so what? Like, they're still going through their own learning experience. I don't even care about that as much, as long as it's not promoting unethical things or poaching.
Yes.
As long as it's not approaching those hard lines, those bright lines, like I don't care. They're still trying, and they're going to learn. Learning is a progression. You don't just end up at the fucking wheel. You try a square first, and you're like, this ain't going to roll. Like it takes a minute to get from A to Z.
Right.
Like you don't just arrive. And you know what? Some people might stop at J and be good. And, you know, Gary Vee, who I mentioned forever, and I've like built the pillars of this business on most of the shit that guy has said, and so far it's working out, is like, you don't have to make $1 million or $500,000 or whatever per year. You could make fucking 40K and be happy if you reconsider your living circumstances and the things that you own and possess. You don't have to have the $800 truck payment. And when you apply this to deer hunting, you don't need half the shit that we talk about. You just don't. But also, if you want to buy that stuff and that makes you feel good, better, you're like also okay. My point in saying all this is like,
okay.
Yes, that was not a pun. But I'm like thinking, some people would think that this is settling, and maybe it is. But at some point, you can't. If you want to have endless ambition towards hitting the 200-inch deer mark at all times and always hitting that stride, great. But when you start to toss in college career, kids, family, health issues, cancer, like crazy shit, your significant other's going through something, like the economy is doing whatever it's doing. At some point, like you can just be okay with A, getting out, B, shooting a spike, A, shooting a doe, whatever. Like I can stop here and be good for the rest of my life. I don't need to get that. Everything is bonus for me. Getting into the woods is the mark. Everything after that is upside.
I think that's the beauty of the
Some people want the upside to be the biggest thing, and like that's also okay. But if you don't, and in the world of business, if I'm not going to be a millionaire, I don't need to be shunned for it. It's fine. But I'm happy to make $100K a year or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, that can be applied to deer hunting too. I just think there's a lot of like parallels between business and deer hunting. Fitness is the same too.
Yep.
Like, look, I got a dad bod. Fuck my life. Okay. But at some point, it just is what it is. And I understand there'd have to be a lot of sacrifice to go get that six-pack
you
back.
See a dad bod. I see sacrifice. I see that you put more time into your kids. And
you know, but some dads would cruise time like, you don't care about your kids because you don't care about your health. And like, yeah, that's all valid except for the part where I don't care about my kids. But I don't know. Lyndon Lauren, we talked about him for 2 seconds. He wrote the book called The Hunter's Hellspan. there's certain people that will map their ambition, their actions to their ambitions in such a way that is like, holy shit. And I love those people. I love the David Goggins. I love the Jocko Willings. I love the Lyndon Laurens, because there is aspiration, and you can pull pages out of those playbooks and apply enough of it to get you further than you would have been without it. And it might not be the David Goggins or the Lyndon Lauren. And I will compare those two all day long, because like Lyndon Lauren is an extremist in the fact that he won't touch a drop of brown water or beer, because his whole thesis is, if you read his book, The Hunter's Healthspan, if you want to hunt more, and that's the thing you care about most, you could live another 10 years and still get those 10 years to go hunting. If you stop doing these things, most people won't stop doing these things.
But Lyndon,
it's also religion. You can pick and choose the things you want to do, but like if you want to walk with God, you got to kind of like toss all that shit to the side.
Lyndon has that special quality that you guys have both hit on tonight too, though, where like what he's saying would normally be something that like an egomaniac person would be saying, the no, that'll never work kind of person that you mentioned earlier, like those like fine. But Lyndon is not that person at all. Lyndon is the most understanding and genuine, and
he'll do his thing.
But he's doing his thing, and he's just trying to help you do whatever it is that you need to do. And like that's what resonates so well with him, right? It's that genuine, and he's a learner. I think that you've demonstrated that you want to learn from everybody
for as long as I can.
That's how Lyndon is too.
You can chase 200-inch deer, and that'll probably get you a 150-inch deer. You can chase a 150-inch deer and probably get a 120-inch deer.
Well, you can you can also chase a doe and shoot a 200-inch deer. I've seen it. I saw it happen last year.
Like you can aim for the stars and hit the moon. That's like the, you know what I mean?
Tell people, like, I mean, there's a lot of people that like people glorify, and again, we talk about comparison and all that, and I'm doing that right now. But like, there's a lot of people that hunt every damn day of the year, and then there's some people that kill a buck every other year, but they only hunt 5 days of the year. You know, this guy's hunting 40 hunts. Well, listen, there's people I know that hunt 40 hunts a year and kill a buck every year. Maybe every fifth year they don't kill a deer, right? So they're 40. At best, their ratio would be 40 hunts to 1 deer.
You just have more at bats.
You might be hunting 5 times and killing a deer every year. You could be up to 8 times as successful as that person, you know? So it's just like...
I like to put myself in that camp if I'm going to have an ego here, which everyone does have an ego. There's a spectrum, and I fucking have one. Like, it's a work in progress.
I think it's pretty normal.
Like, it's like...
I don't have an ego. My ego's so small. It's the smallest there's ever been.
My ego's way smaller than your ego. Your ego's huge compared to my ego.
I'm happy to be the guy that hunts 2-3 sits a year and gets it done. Like, I think
so
that's a fucking brag in and of itself.
You've been so good at that. I feel like
people need to just...
But I also argue that if you have, and I interrupted you, I'm the worst host ever.
No.
I will argue tooth and nail for this, and I will die on this hill, sadly, because I probably will die pretty quick by someone else shooting me off the hill. It will be that you give me enough time and I will kill the damn fucking big deer. Mm-hmm. If I just could have the time, it'd be like, I'll hit one out of the park. Just give me all the at-bats. But if I only get 2 at-bats, I'm not going to hit out of the freaking park. Well, I might hit a base hit, and that'll be really good.
Something I say a lot, too, because I've seen 2 deer that were at some point in their life 200-inch deer, and last year and this past year, like 2 years ago, 2023 and 2024, get killed that I knew well. And they were at some point 200-inch deer. Now, the first one in 2023 died probably as like a low 80s, high 70s. The one last year, probably upper 90s, probably close to 200 or 200. There's so much mass. It's kind of hard to calculate. I'm not used to looking at that.
They're both giant freaking deer.
Both got killed by people on their first hunt of the year. So on gun drives. So, and this was like later in the gun season. So like the reality is we talk about all this work and these tactics and all that stuff. There's no amount of work that guarantees you a deer, and there's no lack of work that omits your chance from any deer. You know, there's plenty of people that luck their way into something they've never seen. And I think luck is a factor, because like you could do everything right and a coyote could have come through.
The harder you work, the luckier you get, but also like you could just straight up be lucky as shit.
Right. Like a coyote could have come through that day and bumped the deer off the bed, and you did everything absolutely right, but you can't control that. So like you can skill your way into deer just as you can luck your way into deer, but there's no way that you can ever discount yourself. And I think that makes luck obsolete. I think that everyone's dealing with these random circumstances. And I don't think it's worth it to consider luck because you can't control it. I think you should only worry about the things you can control. And I just feel like it's God and chance working through every scenario. And if you focus on luck or your situation versus someone else, or what Mark Drury's hunting versus what you get to hunt, you know, you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to be happy. And that's what we should be chasing.
Well, just like
your own happiness
Yeah.
based on whatever expectation
sounds
matters
crazy.
to you. And
That
it doesn't
sounds
matter. Well, it doesn't matter if your expectation is I want to sit on a white bucket and, share some snacks with my daughter. Or it doesn't matter if your expectation is I want to kill a 200-inch deer. Do what makes you happy. And honestly, like, I couldn't care less within legal reason, what you're doing. But like, I just hope that people live a fulfilled life. And this is the way I've found, and it's not going to be the way for everyone else. But I'm very glad that I could talk to two people that think similarly and like, have been on similar journeys and been on very different journeys, but both have come to similar conclusions. It means a lot to me.
When did you guys meet your wives? Were you focused on meeting a wife, or were you just kind of having a good time with your
Oh my
buddies?
It's
God.
never the way you expect it, right?
Dude, absolute random, right?
When do you kill a buck? When you focus on having the best time you can in the woods? Now, don't get me wrong. You aim for the buck, you might get the buck, but you aim for a good time and a buck's going to show up. You focus on the game, not the scoreboard. The scoreboard will take care of itself. Was it Bill Belichick who said that, or some coach?
I
don't
believe
know.
so.
That's when I think things can happen. Now, that being said, you can still hit your mark by doing exactly what we're talking about. But boy, oh boy, the world has a weird way of working out. When you stop focusing on that thing shows up. That's interesting.
Yeah. The destination versus the journey. I mean, the journey, everyone loves to say that like the journey is everything, which is true, but the journey doesn't happen without a destination. Like you can wander through life, but like you need the cancerous thing that you can focus on and ruin your life over in order to go in any direction that's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But if you focus on just whether you achieve that or not, and not maybe the micro goals you have in between, you'll never realize the satisfaction as if you did achieve it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say too, like Joel, your comment was extremely nice. I really appreciate that.
Joel's
means the world
one
to
of the
me
good
here.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very kind. I appreciate that.
Well, I think that's a good episode. We will be happy to have you back anytime.
Damn
How far of a
good
drive is
episode.
this for you? Is it a far drive, or are you
20
close
minutes.
by? Okay, so you're not that far.
I'm not
I don't
dropping
actually
pins
know. I
here,
don't
but-
actually know where you're at. So, like,
Dropping pins. Another
Yeah,
plug. Look
no,
at this guy.
I live on Pewaukee Lake. I don't live
okay.
on the lake. I live
Yeah.
across the street from the lake.
Okay,
I
so
was like,
Pewaukee.
damn, Jacob.
So if you guys want to come over and fish, I got an uncle who's a
Oh.
muskie guide on the lake too. So
Oh, Matt Strime would like that. You might want to guest on the Okayest Hunter podcast for that business.
be cool.
But no, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hopefully you got, I'm pretty sure you got something on this episode. And I forgot to say we're brought to you by Nosler in the beginning, because when we have a guest, I get weird. Latitude, Rack Up, Quick Trip, and definitely Gerber. Thank you guys all for supporting a podcast like ours that can put good, positive vibes into the community. So thanks, everybody. And also the Wild Calling on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Well,
Go watch.
yeah. Thank you guys very much for having me on too, and all the unnecessary and false kind words about me. I appreciate all of it, but honestly, like I've been on plenty of podcasts, and I really appreciate real conversations and especially being able to do this in person. So
It's about as real as it gets.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. It's
Yeah,
always better
thank you.
when you get to interact in
Yeah,
person.
In person. Virtual's
guys.
not the same. It's a computer screen. We lose all the emotion. It's totally different.
Right.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Have a good night, week, day, weekend. I don't know when people listen to this, but enjoy.
Enjoy whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Adios.